Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have a liftoff.
What's up, Doom Nation? Welcome back. You were listening to a very special episode of the Two Doom Men podcast. It's kind of like the Avengers assembling, right?
Very much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thundercats assemble! Oh!
So we've been talking about this. We have all of our guests from the Patriot Podcast community. We got James from We the People.
Yeah, let's just go around the room and you guys all introduce yourselves and give your shows and etc.
I'm James from We the People Radio, as you know. Love these guys over at Two Doom Men. Glad to be here.
Garrett from Sergeant Samurai, and
Piece of shit one.
You see me and Cap on Thursdays, and you see me and Douchebag over here on Wednesdays. So, and then you see me and Stevie during the week.
Isn't that cute?
What was that? It's like our second time in studio.
Yeah.
This is Piece of Shit number 2.
I am piece of shit number 2, Alan Jacoby of the Great Divide podcast and We the People Radio with that asshole over there. Yep. You know what's great? Everybody here, we have this like incestual podcast thing. Like
we do.
We got Sergeant and Samurai doing stuff with Two Doomed Men, We the People and the Great Divide, and like we're all here.
Yep.
Just like
Sergeant
this,
and We the People.
And this is the first time that we're all meeting in person.
same-
We're from, which is crazy because we got Vegas, Jersey, New York, Rhode Island, Connecticut.
the 5 families.
Yeah.
We're just
Yeah.
here at the sit down.
And it's funny because like I'm like the New Jersey guy who went out west to the Vegas.
You're Tommy.
Yeah,
Joe
exactly.
Pesci.
Yeah.
Hey, you're gonna go out to Vegas and learn the casino business.
Yep.
That's a fucking great movie.
Oh,
You
yes,
guys
it
have
is.
seen Casino?
One of my
I'm sure?
all-time
absolutely.
favorites. One of my
One of
all-time favorites.
That might be the best mafia movie.
One of them.
Casino.
Yes.
Might
One
be.
of them.
Might
Top
be.
10.
One of them.
Debatable.
And-
but-
No, top 5.
And it's
Yeah.
unfortunate because Robert De Niro is one of the biggest pieces of shit in the world. And,
Such
But I love his movies.
that's the thing, and that's what taught me how. We'll get into it during the show, but it's kind of what taught me how to separate the work from the individual because those are my favorite movies. And if you realize how evil these people are, and you stop watching your favorite movie, you're gonna have no enjoyment out of life. So you had to figure out
The whole thing with everybody, like, we got to boycott Disney.
Yeah.
I don't got kids. I'm cool. I'm gonna keep watching Star Wars until I can't take it no more. They have to fail on me. Like they failed with Marvel, but like I'm not gonna boycott the Mandalorian right now.
really
I don't
good.
have kids.
I'm
really
lucky. My 10-year-old girl hates Disney. Hates
That's
Disney
awesome.
princesses.
All right.
She fucking hates it. So
Yeah, but your
scored
daughter
with
writes based like stuff in school.
that. She does.
Like he sent me a drawing that she sent, and I was like, "Your daughter's 9, and this is what she's showing in class."
The
I
American
fucking
flag.
love her. Yeah. Meanwhile, Garrett's kids have shanks in every room.
Yeah, you were saying before, man. They're
Always
little,
prepared.
we got to continue around the room to piece of shit number 3.
Sorry. Yeah, my bad.
Hey,
I
what the hell are
am.
you?
I'm a sergeant from Sergeant Samurai Stevie J.
Yes,
As you're called.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for coming in person, man. It's fucking awesome
this is
to
great.
hang out.
Oh, I
of
know
course.
we were all.
Oh, this
looking
is
forward
fucking
to it.
badass.
Long awaited.
Like me and Alan have been doing shows. Like I know Garrett for years. I've known Garrett for years, and I already knew he was a big piece of shit. Alan, me and him have been doing a show for over a year. Freedom Friday as well over a year. We've been doing a show together, and then he joined We the People Radio a couple of months ago, and this is the first time we're meeting. And we've done a couple of shows together before. I've been on your show, you've been on our show, and we've always had such a great time. And it's just awesome that we can get together and do this in real life. And
And now that we finally met in
Doc
person,
Penises.
James, I hate you more than I do.
What I also realized about Alan, not only is he short, but he's got small hands. This piece of shit,
Small hands.
shifty fuck. I shook his hand. I was like, wow, he's got small hands.
I
It's
do.
like a little girl.
Yeah, I was like, it was like a little baby.
Yeah, so you're gonna ask me to give you a hand job?
Yeah, I
right?
guess. make my dick look really big.
you gotta
feel
get-
bigger?
It'll make my dick
You gotta
look
get
awesome.
your nails done first.
Yeah, make my dick look huge. My little Italian piece of deal.
Yeah, man, it's cool. And Alan, I got to thank you, man, for like kind of being like the godfather of the whole podcast
Get the
family.
fuck
We
out
have
of here.
He's Tony Stark, bro.
No, he is. Look at you. He is.
He's Tony Stark.
The Patriot Podcast Network did bring us closer
Yeah.
together. Like
It did.
before the Patriot Podcast Network, we were all still communicating and doing work together, but it wasn't like
On this level, no.
A unified front.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like we've built a friendship, we've built a community together, and not only are we growing a show individually, but we want to help each other grow and get better and point each other in the right direction, because we're all just figuring shit out as we go. Like, all of us have no clue what we're doing.
But I think at the same time, like we all our hearts are in the right place.
Without a doubt.
You know, like we've talked about it 1,000 times. Me and him definitely don't agree on everything.
Me and Alan don't agree.
Me and you don't agree on everything. Me and you
agree on
Yeah.
Me and Stevie, I brought him to the light where now he's like, you're right, the government is the worst thing ever. But,
Well,
you know, and then like me and Alan, like we don't see stuff, you know, eye to eye on a lot of things. But that's we all have that common goal of like we need to better this place that we're living in, that we're raising our children in. You know, so I think that's one of the unique things about us is it's okay that we all don't think exactly the same, but we all agree that we're fucked. So we don't like. None of us want to be fucked.
We're all fighting the same battle. Like, you know, some of us are a little more conspiratorial than others. Some of us are more libertarian than others. Like, everybody has different viewpoints on certain scenarios, especially in the polarized news that we see today. Like, everything is so it's one side or the other, and it's crazy. Like, all of us kind of riding somewhere in the middle. Like, where some are a little more conspiratorial than others on the spectrum. And but at the end of the day, we all have the same enemy. We have a common enemy. We all, like, you're a former Bernie bro, and I say all the time, I'm like, the Bernie bros and us, we have the same enemy. Like, they don't realize that we're fighting the same people. They just want to give them more power where we want to take it away. And it's the same thing with us. Like, we want the same end goal. We just don't see it playing out the same way. Like, some are a little bit more doom and gloom than others. Some see a little bit more positivity from things happening. Like, there's so many different viewpoints. But at the end of the day, we all have the same end goal, and we want the same thing. We want freedom for our country. We want to restore our republic, and we don't want our tyrannical government ruling our everyday life. I mean, if it was up to you, I know you're an anarchist.
I don't want
Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah. It's funny. I saw a tweet today, and it was like, you know, if we lived in an anarchist state, there'd be warlords ruling over each other and attacking each other.
Strong.
And the person was like, yeah, that's exactly what's fucking happening right now. We have literal warlords ruling over the earth, and
they're called governors.
So
no, it's true. We're absolutely. It's like Mad
Hold
Max.
on. Quick question: why are you throwing Bernie bros under the bus when you voted for Obama?
Oh man,
I was a Ron. Listen.
You were what, probably 18 when Obama ran, right? Me too.
So I was a big Ron Paul guy. I was at that time. I was a very big Ron Paul guy, and my mother was like, James, it was my first time I could vote. She's like, James, and I knew it was rigged.
You're gonna fuck it up.
She's like, James, you can't vote for Ron Paul. It's a waste. You're just throwing it out the window. Like, it's a waste of vote. He's never gonna get elected. So, like, if you want to actually make an impact, pick somebody that you might want.
His mom just committed a federal crime, but okay.
The rationale for voting Obama the first time was because I hated John McCain. I knew already he was a globalist piece of shit. I already knew he was a traitor. We were just coming off of George Bush, and I hated the Republicans because they were warmongering pieces of shit, and 9/11 and all the things that go along with George Bush and the Bush family and their connections, JFK, we can go on and on. I was like, I can't do McCain. I can't do McCain. And my thought process was the establishment would never allow a black guy into the president's office. I was like, you know, and what I also liked about him, just like Donnie, he was out of nowhere, like an outsider. It wasn't like he was a career politician like a McCain. He was just this new, fresh face. And I was like, all right, maybe he's actually an outsider trying to get in, and we might have somebody new. And because
I be a CIA.
Boy, were you wrong.
Yeah, I was way off. But and it's funny because I tell my mother, I was like, well, I wish you didn't talk me out of voting for Ron Paul, because he's been right about everything. Like, the guy's been dead on accurate about everything.
I was the exact same way as you. I liked Obama too, and it's easy to look back now and be like, wow, we were so wrong.
I didn't like him.
Hindsight's fucking 20.
I didn't like him. I just thought he was better than McCain because I knew McCain was a globalist. I knew he was part of the New World Order. I knew he was part of this establishment. And I thought Obama might have a shot of being an outsider. Like, you could.
And that's the funniest thing about it.
Yeah. And he
remember his whole campaign.
His first campaign.
The Manchurian candidate. He was a Manchurian candidate.
His first campaign, the whole slogan was change, right?
Yep.
What was brilliant about it from like a nefarious point of view is that it was change. So what happened was a lot of people just painted onto him whatever they thought that meant. So he came around, he's like, I'm going to change things. And now if you were somebody like you, you're like, I don't want this fucking, war-like state with this establishment. You're like, Obama's going to change that. But he didn't really mean anything.
I didn't necessarily think he was going to change it. I just thought it was better than McCain. Like, I was like, all right.
Strictly from a gamesmanship point of view, the change slogan was fantastic.
Brilliant.
Yeah, because of that.
And then it was Hope.
Great marketing
the second
and
time.
propaganda.
Hope,
Once
And it was
again.
Hope. It was
Very good
Oh,
propaganda.
yes.
No, that's what they do though. They do the same thing, like build back better. Like
Right.
they make it sound
the
like
Patriot Act.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh no! What
That
about
worked out
what
well.
about what about the
The-
IRS bill that the tax
inflation.
Inflation Reduction Act? Like, what did that bill do? It just made,
Made
like,
inflation.
everything go
Yeah,
skyrocket.
that's gotten worse as the years have gone on, right? Like now they're just literally whatever this is called, it's the complete fucking
Yeah, let's
opposite.
name it the
It's
opposite.
just more on the nose now.
With 70,000 pages,
Yeah.
so
Oh,
no
yeah.
one's gonna look at it. And we're gonna put all the
How
fluff.
about this could be one of the topics we talk about, right? The Restrict Act with TikTok,
Oh,
right?
yeah, you wanted
Ooh,
it,
I definitely want to get into this because that's a hot topic for so many people.
A lot of moles
And a
Yeah.
lot of people
A lot
don't
of
realize it's a
moles
Trojan
in that one.
horse.
big time.
Oh, absolutely.
Big time. And I
That's a
hope
slippery slope right there.
You wanna go nuts?
Well, the problem is nobody's reading the bill, and the way they're wrapping it up and making it this nice package.
Typical.
Is, well, we want to ban TikTok because the CCP and China bad, and I absolutely, obviously, China's bad. The problem is nobody's reading the bill and the Restrict Act. There's some sick shit in that bill. Literally, it's we're becoming China to beat China. They want state-controlled social media. They want to punish people.
It's kind of what's happening in Canada.
yeah, they're
right
giving
now.
they're
Right.
giving the
So-
Secretary of Commerce, the unelected official, like
Right.
unlimited power to censor
So, like,
us.
shocking,
learned
shocking
from it.
that they.
To censor, to punish, possibly. We're talking of fines in the millions of dollars, 20-year jail sentences. Listen, I'm banned from TikTok like 3 times. I don't like it. I think TikTok should be regulated for minors, meaning like, first of all, if you're a
The
parent,
content, for sure.
if you're a parent and you're letting your 13-year-old daughter dress like a whore in your backyard and do TikTok dances, well, you're an
should go to
asshole.
jail.
If
You're a terrible parent, yeah.
Right. Like, make the age to use TikTok 18 years old. Make them have to submit a photo ID if you want to restrict something like that. And you hear the stories, people buying fentanyl pills off TikTok, and they're getting them in the mail, taking them and waking up dead.
I thought that was Silk Road.
What's that?
No, that's
Buying the
the
drugs.
dark web. That's the dark
no,
web.
no, they do it on TikTok.
Okay.
So even Snapchat, but
Right in front of your face.
it's listen. Every time you swipe your credit card, every time you swipe your debit card, every time you do everything in this fucking country, you don't think China is mining your data?
Yeah.
You don't think China is getting every bit of information somehow, one way or another? So all of a sudden we're going to ban TikTok? No, this is the Trojan horse to control what we're seeing, control what we're saying, and it would really do damage on the hundreds of shows like ours out there.
We
where
don't go to jail.
We could be literally.
No, we're fucked.
We're the
Literally.
first ones in.
We're
Literally.
fucked.
I have it here. The Mises Caucus did actually a really good job of kind of like taking parts of the bill and putting it on their Twitter. So they said the Restrict Act is not limited to just TikTok. It gives the government authority over all forms of communication, domestic
VPNs,
or
too.
abroad, and grants power to enforce any mitigation measure to address any risk to national security now and any potential future transaction.
Dude,
The problem with
we,
all
we
of this
talk about the Twitter files all the time. The FBI, the CIA, all the alphabet soup agencies are already embedded inside every social media.
Without a doubt.
Well,
This goes through.
Literally,
it's
yeah,
one phone
literally.
call and they're like, drop the hammer on everyone.
The FBI is paying Facebook
on
for
groups of
access
people,
to their
not
servers.
everyone.
Without
Groups-
a doubt.
Groups of people.
Without a doubt, and it's crazy because like we joke that we'd be getting thrown in jail, but like things like this are already happening. There's political prisoners in jail as we speak. Julian Assange is a big point, a topic point that I want to get into because a photo just surfaced. And
Yeah, he
Look
looks
at
like shit.
but-
look at the memer that just
I was
got
just
hit.
gonna say.
that was
10
literally
years,
just what I was going to say.
Ricky something,
but
right?
but
Yeah.
but it's getting
Doug.
very personal, and I've talked about this on our show. I was in Las Vegas on January 6th because I wouldn't get on a plane to go anywhere because I wasn't wearing a mask. Like I didn't even go see my family until last year was the first time I saw them.
James is a little bitch, but
No, I'm not wearing a mask. I'm not playing this game. I'm not going to play it. I refuse. I'm standing my ground. It's a line in the sand that I will draw, and I'll die on that fucking hill. I was not like I knew exactly what that was. It was another Trojan horse for more control. I'm like, fuck this.
I'm glad you actually had a line in the sand. One of the things I was saying during the pandemic is, hey, everyone has to actually have a fucking line. It seemed like a lot of people had no line, like,
Yes.
or they just allowed their line to keep
For
getting
convenience.
moved.
Yes.
Hey, at some point, every person should have a line.
Yep.
Now it could be, you might live in a gulag. that might be your line, fine. But you have to have a line at some point.
100%. Most people are terrified to, or they want the convenience. Like, oh, I got to go to the store. I can't get in there without a mask. Like, or they don't want to be even looked at. Like, Jimmy, you guys all did it.
I think a good question is like, what's your line? What's my line? What was your line? What was your line? Because that line put us all in this room.
Yeah. But
yes,
that makes sense?
mine was kids with the masks. That was my line.
In a way, absolutely.
In schools,
but it was very difficult walking around for a lot of people because every time you walked around without a mask at that time, you were like the only one in the place without one, and everybody is looking at you like no matter what you do, and some people just can't handle that for whatever reason.
At that time, I went hiking, and I'm in the woods on a trail by myself, and a jogger comes by with a mask on, and I could hear her go, in
the middle of fucking
I went turkey hunting back here in Putatuck State Forest, and I'm out in the middle. I'm deep in the woods looking for turkey, and I found a fucking mask someone hung on a tree. So like someone's just the people care about nature.
Yeah,
a mask hung on a branch out in
the amount there in the ocean, it's insane. So so I didn't go to January 6th, and I stayed in Las Vegas. Excuse me, but a friend of mine, he flew out from California. He's a young kid. Went by himself just because he wanted to support Donald Trump. I red pilled him, and he wanted to support Donald Trump. And he went out there to watch the rally. Didn't go in the Capitol. Didn't do anything crazy. He was just there. He left when everything started to get crazy. Went back to his hotel room. The FBI shows up at his house in January of 23 because he moved to South Dakota since. But it's January of 23 now, so almost 3 years later. They show up at his house, knock on his door. They start asking him questions about his day.
Told us this,
And after they ask questions about his day, they pull out two photos. One's my mugshot from when I got arrested when I was 21 for weed. And he goes, "Do you know this guy, James Curry?" And I'm like, why the fuck is the FBI asking about? I wasn't there. I wouldn't get on a plane, so I have nothing to do with being there. It's literally just because I have a show and because of what we do. And when you see things like this, and you see what's going on to the memer, and you see what with the censorship and where they're going to, it's very real. Mm-hmm. Like, this is not something that I take lightly at all. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, come after me. It is what it is. I'm not going to stop. Like, you're not intimidating me to stop. But every single day that goes on, it gets closer and closer. I'll never forget my original co-host, Nick. He's got a client from Venezuela that escaped during the early 2000s. And she told Nick at the time, she's like, dude, listen, in Venezuela, the people like you, they didn't kill them. They just disappeared. Like, they off the fit. Like, in the middle of the night, no one ever heard of them. It's not like they
just mass execution of your opponent is bad publicity. It doesn't matter what. Yeah. Yep. So it's more effective to just get rid of them.
So they show up in the middle of the night and they disappear them. Like, you have no idea what happened to them, no clue, and it's tough to fight back when these people just like. I guarantee if they wanted access to your house, they can easily do it. The federal government, and they could sneak in. You won't even fucking hear them with the training that they have, and they jab you with something, put you out cold, pick you up, carry you out, and you're good to go. Yeah. Like,
that's why it's imperative we don't give a fucking inch on gun rights in the Second Amendment.
But
that's look. The government is.
I want to talk about that real quick.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean
to. No, go ahead.
With that thing,
you have
to, otherwise you're never going to get
So in that one, there's also one with VPNs. Where
it's right here.
If you use a private network, it's against the law.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, they can get fucked.
They're going to funnel you into a system that they 100% have control of. If they find you're using it, jail.
I'll keep
say goodbye to your encrypted messaging. Say goodbye to it.
All information runs through that. And I worked for big tech before I became an arm worker after the military. So I know exactly how they can control the system. Also, that means control the cameras. They have access to everyone's.
They already do.
Closed circuit feed. Of course, if they want, they can get it with the push of a button.
With TVs, everything.
Currently, they probably have to go through a third party.
One of the most interesting things about this, and I think it's something conservatives have to be careful of. They'll get something like this through because they'll be like, "We're going to ban TikTok because TikTok is
fuck over China."
This is why they're doing it, though. This is
yes,
and every rhino will sign right on.
So I'm always the one trying to because it says TikTok, sound the alarm on that. What I've seen though is a split definitely within conservatives and Republicans. Yeah. It seems like Conservative Inc. When I say that, I think of like Ben Shapiro, Daily Wire, right? They seem to be like, ban the guns for trans people, ban TikTok.
Yeah, they're
the
cucks.
more MAGA first people are smarter, and they're like, hey,
another Trojan horse.
Yeah, another Trojan horse.
Oh, no, let everybody buy guns because in the end, we're just going to see who can use them better.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But
I'm starting to see that there is
this is why.
Hold on, real quick. That girl that went in, if you watched the video on that shit, like she knew how to handle a weapon.
Yeah, but she left her entire back exposed.
She did, but she knew how to.
Well, she's by herself.
She's by herself.
If you're a shooter from
Is
elevated
it a she or a he?
Yeah.
It's a she.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It was a violent criminal that killed 6 innocent people.
This is why they choose TikTok. They're very smart, and we talk about it all the time. This is not a Republican versus Democrat thing. They are on the same fucking side.
It's them versus
They're
us.
all communicating with each other. Like, all right, how can we pull the wool over the Republicans' eyes so they think we're actually doing something to benefit them? Because we all are in agreement that TikTok is a terrible idea. It should not be in the hands of kids. China owns all of the data, and they're mining our data. Like, we're all in agreement in that. But we have to be smart and realize that by them doing this is taking away freedom from us. And we have to have the freedom of choice and be adults and make right decisions, not for just for ourselves, but for our children as well. Like, hey, TikTok is not good, so guess what? You can't have TikTok. There's no TikTok on any of our cell phones in the house. Like, no one can have this app, and just choose not to use it. And it's sad because it goes back to just like the line earlier.
It's just cutting your nose off to spite your face.
If you don't draw a line at something, they're just going to continue to do it and continue to take advantage of us because we're just going to say, all right, I'm just going to use it anyway. Even though I know it's bad, I'm going to use it anyway.
This is a good example how we were talking about recently how the top-down approach doesn't work, because this is an example of the top-down approach, and what you're talking about is the bottom-up approach. Where we're like, look,
we've talked about that.
We have to, like through our family, like make sure your kids don't use TikTok. We all do shows. We tell people, hey, we don't like TikTok. We don't think it's good because of this, this, and that. And then people will learn. Or just in normal life, you'd be like, hey, man, I don't think you should use TikTok because of whatever. That's a more bottom-up approach, and that is more effective as opposed to giving the government the authority to then regulate it.
I like to just... So this bill, the way it's written and stands, is complete garbage. It needs to be torn down and rewritten, and it needs to be separated. So TikTok itself, if you break down TikTok and you do the pros and cons of it, the pros for the Democrats, for election-wise, they can reach their progressive base who is all over TikTok, right? All over TikTok. The cons, all right, China, and also the danger to children with the app, with predators and drugs and everything else.
And what they're doing,
and all that, right. And now, the other pro is, and I know a lot of small businesses, is there are tons and tons, thousands of small businesses that use TikTok to advertise their business, and they do very well with their advertisement, making TikToks for their business, drawing in the customers. And this is why it should be separated and just by choice. You either want to use it or you don't. Because again, I go back to if China wants your information, they're getting it other ways. If we ban TikTok, that doesn't mean it just stops.
Nope.
It doesn't stop.
And I'm not.
You don't even slow down the river, man.
Twitter is willing to ban TikTok for the risk versus reward.
Twitter is doing the same thing. Instagram is doing the same thing. Facebook is doing the same thing. Gmail and Google is doing the same exact thing.
Yes.
Like people are like, as much as I love what Elon Musk is doing with the Twitter files and releasing all this information, he didn't buy Twitter for freedom.
There's been a weird switch in the past 2 weeks.
He just made the source code, most of it, like open source, so that you could see what's going on. And people, this is why I like this idea of making the source code open. People started pointing shit out, like, hey, there's something in the source code that like labels you a Republican or a Democrat, and some other, a couple other like categories. And I mean, again, is he telling the truth? That people brought this up on Twitter, and he's like, this is not even something that we knew about. And how they're going to look into it.
Again, I love what he's doing. But he didn't buy Twitter for freedom. Like he like that was a good optics for him, so he can use that. The end goal for him is the data for Neuralink. For Neuralink, he needs data. Right. What servers have the most data available? It's these social media platforms. So at the end of the day, like, as much as I love what Elon's doing, like, that data that we're using on Twitter is now being uploaded to Neuralink. Like, that's what it's being used for.
That's a pretty good line to draw. Don't put chips in.
Right. Yeah. 100%. 100%. Yeah. But that's the problem. Like, people won't draw that line in the sand. They'll just like, like Alan was saying, with businesses, like you're making so much money or bringing so much ad revenue or customers to your business because of TikTok. And even though I wouldn't last a day on TikTok, I'd get banned immediately. I'd make an account.
We're all banned here.
Yeah. I've never done it. I've never done it, but TikTok. Everybody says, "Oh, James, make a TikTok. Like you'll get so many followers." I'm like,
you will too.
I'm like, one, I won't last, but two, I don't want that.
Day one,
I don't want that software on my phone. So I draw that line. I'm like, I'm not doing it.
Never download
so
TikTok.
I made a TikTok account for the cigar company, and I don't even use it anymore because every time because it's a tobacco industry.
Oh, they'll hit you hard,
every time it was community standards.
There's a girl I follow
for tobacco.
Yeah,
drugs.
There's a girl I follow who she reviews knives, folding knives, all this stuff, and like she literally has to be like, it's not sharp TikTok. It's not a real She gets shut down every other week just for review. This is a pocket knife.
But drugs are okay, and
meanwhile,
pedophilia content is okay. Like
showing your top scars is totally fine.
In China,
it's no big deal.
You can do that, and then in China, the kids are taking apart and putting together
robots
guns.
and shit.
There's definitely a kind of like social experiment aspect to it that the Chinese have intention. Like they're like, we're going to use. The algorithm is flawless. Like it brings you a lot of videos real quick. You could consume a lot through it.
Yes.
So the Chinese are like, we're going to use this in a positive way for our population, make them smarter, stronger, familiar with guns and things like that. While at the same time, we're going to corrode like the social fabric of America by showing them ass, tits,
the fifth generation
whatever.
warfare.
All these, yes, in a
everything
sense,
dumb Americans want to
so
see.
How can you like?
They can destroy
But
in reality, they don't have to. Like a very smart invading army with the current technology that you have, you can literally plant the seed that grows and destroys everything, almost like The Last of Us, where it's like that fungus that grows and destroys our youth, which is the future of our country.
So most people will then be like, "Oh my God, government, protect me from the evil Chinese Communist Party."
Yes, please.
But this is what me and you get into all the time. It's like our own government is actually our own worst enemy. So the last people we want to go to is them. Because what they're aiming at, what they're literally exactly, they're proving it to right here. What they're trying to do is great. We've tricked everybody into thinking the CCP is really the worst enemy, and then we'll use that to gain control over everything. And now, before you know, we're all in jail.
One-page bills, not the 2,000 pages of bullshit.
No.
Right, one-page bill.
One
this
topic.
Is for the phone
one topic
company.
bill.
No, you can't put any fluff in there. You can't put any fluff. And it's a big problem. Like they do this on purpose, and not only do they put bills through that are 70,000, 100,000s of pages.
So they can hide shit.
They deliver them on wheel carts an hour before the vote. So,
I don't know if they've changed it, but they used to have remote voting on them, right? And I know, I think Marjorie Taylor Greene kind of made herself like a thorn in the side by showing up and calling an in-person vote every time.
Yes.
So not only did COVID kind of made things worse because they have these bills that are insane, but they even then outsource it to you don't even have to show up to vote for it. You could do it remotely.
You text in your vote.
I think that was all through COVID, though.
And,
they tried to use
it was
COVID
emergency
to do that.
powers.
Sorry, Alan.
Kevin McCarthy had said, now this would fall into that. I'm wondering because it's one bill, but there are so many.
Hang on.
I don't know if this is considered. I didn't look at the whole thing. I looked through a lot of it. I guess this is considered a one subject bill because now House rules is one bill, one subject. They can't give you bills that would come in on carts anymore, like James just mentioned.
Which is great, but it's still
But
they're hiding so much bullshit.
I know how they work. I know how the government works, though.
One fucking page.
I know,
if it's that crazy of something that we need to take care of, it should be that cut and dry, where it's like bang. Okay.
I was going to say that. With how Orwellian the government is right now, they'll be like, "Yeah, we made it so that it can only be a one-subject bill, and then it's still 300 subjects."
No,
anyway.
exactly.
And they'll be like, "See, it's a TikTok bill. It's only about TikTok." But then if you actually read it, it's about 3,000 other things.
And
it doesn't matter.
That's exactly
what they
why
say doesn't actually matter.
That's why they say the TikTok bill.
Right. No, I was going to say, I have the best way to solve that problem. It might take a minute for me to get it, so just give me a minute.
Fuck yourself.
All representatives all state representatives or congressional representatives that have to go to the state, they should have to read the bill and then take that bill back to the representatives, have a town hall meeting, read the bill, get their vote on how she should vote or he, and to send their vote, because they don't AOC. Do you think she's not voting on behalf of what those people really need? No. She's voting for what she needs. But so every representative, you have to go to the state house, read the bill. Everyone that's in that's a representative from you in the section of that state votes on what you're going to cast that vote for.
Yeah.
I know that sounds so difficult and horrible, but dropping a 4,000-page bill on a table and giving your team.
I agree.
Yeah.
We have a hard enough time
it's
getting
impossible.
people to school board meetings. We have a hard enough time getting people to town hall meetings. Like I agree that's a great idea.
Fired up.
But this is why they choose they choose TikTok, because they know the conservatives will get behind it.
Yeah.
They know that the crazy right wing that are so stuck on the Chinese involvement of TikTok and not realizing that it's a Trojan horse to literally steal our freedom. The
Patriot
establishment realizes, exactly. No, the
Exactly.
establishment realizes that they can play on that. So they're like, oh yeah,
Yes,
TikTok. So
correct,
us conservative,
100%.
Not us conservatives, but the
Conservative Inc.
Yeah,
like I was saying
exactly.
before.
Rhinos.
That's a good way to
they're-
put it.
they're-
Rhinos, there you go.
I'm noticing that is the divide, definitely. Like the Ben Shapiro, and I'm not saying I hate Ben Shapiro
I do.
or anything, but
He's a cuck.
there is. I'm starting to see like the conservative Inc.
I can't
split,
stand
like,
him.
You know, and they tend to just dive into that stuff immediately. Like they never
Because they're
right off
still
the
allowed
bat
to
have a
make
good
money off of it.
Right, I'm saying they never right as soon as something happens have the right opinion on it. They always like with vaccine or with the mask, like 6
they
months
toe the
later,
line, and then
right,
they
and then
go,
6
"Oh,
months later,
yeah.
no, we opposed it.
I wish I didn't get this. When
Right.
it's just like anybody would have a fucking brain.
Yeah.
Would have been like right away. You're like, this don't
Let's
look too good.
You want to do the whiskey?
I am
All right,
itching
let's
to-
let's
The
shift gears for a
Leahy
second.
special on
Yeah.
steroids.
We're switching gears here?
Yeah, we're gonna switch gears here. So
All right.
we are going to Doomed Review.
Someone's got static.
Yeah, just tighten that up. So this is we did the 12-year, right, Cap?
Yeah.
So this is Kirkland signature 18 years
Kirkland, it's
Speyside single malt
Costco brand.
Scotch whiskey, sherry cask finish. Let's see, Alexander Murray and Co. Limited, Aberdeen, Scotland.
That's
from Scotland.
You lost me at Kirkland. It's like we're going to drink at Walmart. It's
Trust
great.
me.
So-
it's
so-
not that bad.
It's fun. No. My parents went to Ireland and they went to the Jameson, the original Jameson
here.
distillery,
Factory.
the original, and you can only buy a certain like the original Jameson and brew. It's done in the sherry cask
Okay.
barrels, the
Jameson
same exact
sucks.
thing. Oh, this is awesome! It was fucking awesome.
You ever have Powers?
No,
If you, I do this to every JMO drinker. If you have Powers or Powers Gold, no matter what the Jameson is, you will never drink it again.
I really enjoyed the sherry
I
cask.
never get too crazy over
I'm a
Jameson.
bourbon snob.
I've had Poppy Van Winkle. I've had some good scotch.
Van Winks?
Yeah,
So is everybody here like a whiskey, bourbon,
yeah,
Scotch
big
drinker?
time,
No.
Yeah.
big time.
I stay away from hard boots because it puts me
All right,
in jail.
but that adds a so that we.
That's a good.
enough.
That
I'm
adds
just
a
being
fun.
honest. here.
I appreciate
Wild,
honesty.
Being honest.
wild card, motherfuckers.
I like that though because we're getting
One of
a
you
different
might go through
perspective.
this table in about 5 minutes. I don't know what to tell
All right,
you.
let's put that back in the
Bring the
showcase.
volume down.
I didn't get. Yeah, what are we doing
That's
here?
why I took mine off.
Yeah. Just
Oh,
a
you're
little.
going for it?
I'm just doing a little sips.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I need. I need a little
Sipsky.
like that.
So we'll go.
Little dab will
Well,
do you.
it's interesting, Gary. I like that
year.
you
We're
don't like it.
fancy.
Yeah, we are
Pink,
fancy.
This is a pinky out event, boys.
It is.
Yeah.
Pinky's out.
Hey,
This was I think this was like $63 from Costco, Alan. Don't knock it till you try it because
No, listen,
I
I'll
haven't
drink
had
anything.
a bad
63.
Kirkland product to date.
Costco.
And normally I don't like buying like big corporate fucking nameless
all right,
brands.
Steven takes
but-
first step and give us your
Let's
review.
see.
Well, I'll do it proper way. So you want to breathe in, hold it, take the
Snob.
sip, and breathe out.
Is that what it is?
Yes, because you don't want to
Alright,
breathe
I
in
didn't know
after the
that.
sip because then you get
Bro,
the heat.
Yeah.
bro,
You
we're
know, bro.
drinking Kirkland whiskey.
Yeah, I'm just letting you
Take
know how I
a
do
sip.
it. That's how I do it.
And let us know what you
All right, show
think.
me how you do.
Oh my goodness.
Did you just blow a guy?
Yeah, he's gonna start
I'm just
like
letting you guys
mouthwash.
know Steve is the most professional drinker out of all of us, so I would take his advice on this.
This is true.
Oh, it's Scotch whiskey. I was just gonna say it has a little flavoring of like a Glenlivet
It's a blend,
or like
right?
a Macallan. It's good
Told you.
for
Don't
being.
fuck with him with this. This is the man you
Yeah.
ask.
So I could just
That's not bad.
Yeah.
real quick. I'll compare it to the 12 that we have. It has a way more like on the nose taste than the 12. I'm not saying the 12 was bad.
Little
It was
hotter.
good, but like the 12 kind of didn't taste like much. This has like a very specific taste. I don't know if that made any sense.
It's oaky for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is hot.
definitely oaky.
Very
This
oaky.
is hot.
It has a late bite, but
That's
it's
why you gotta
a
breathe
very
out after
light
you
bite.
breathe out
It's not
after.
it's not
hot. Hot is a good way to put it. Yeah.
Is that what we gotta do?
it's got a very late bite. Like the first sip is smooth, and then that bite just
Hyperventilated over here.
trickles in on the way down.
Yeah. I missed
Oh
that. What
shit!
happened?
I'm sorry.
Just
Guys,
let it sit on you.
full blown. He's hyperventilating trying to drink this.
No, I want to do it right. Yo, mind your business.
Just let
Let's
it.
see. Garrett, I want to see what you... Go ahead, take a
Yeah,
sip. I
yeah.
want to see what your opinion is, because you don't like bourbon, or you don't like...
I would have
whiskey.
loved it if he just downed it and smashed it.
Honestly, that ran through my head twice.
Party time,
Oh,
bitches!
great, man.
Oh
It's smooth. Like, I'll drink Jameson.
Woo!
Drink single doubles. I'm more of like an Irish whiskey guy. If I do
Okay.
drink whiskey.
Little proper
but,
12.
Yeah. Nah.
Proper
I'm not
12?
gonna hear. Not fucking here.
All right.
Fuck that cuck.
Yeah, this is
Gregor.
escalating quickly, boys. He's like, oh, I'm gonna get Steve and James around, so it's gonna be Garrett and Steve real quick.
So, Garrett, what do you think? What do you think? Seriously.
It's super smooth.
All right.
Yeah.
I didn't
Let
think,
me, let me-
I mean, that's my extent of like, okay, it didn't burn.
Fair enough.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
like
Quick.
when it's easy to sip. For me personally, when it's easy to
Dangerous.
sip, like it's dangerous.
So, like we say all the time, we're not experts, so we like to give non-expert opinions, because
Yeah.
most people, they ain't fucking experts on anything.
No, like
Quick
I'm taking
question.
a sip of it, and I'm not doing this.
You think if I lit up my cigar, it'd be too much smoke, or you think we're
Nah,
good?
go for it, dude.
No,
Go
he's
for
been
it.
smoking the whole
So,
time. So fine.
He's been smoking the whole
I
time.
know he has, but if we have two cigars going, that's like I just want to make sure.
Are there any pussies in the room?
Yeah,
I'm over here
yeah.
looking at mine, chomping on the
Let me, I'm going to read the back of the bottle
should light
here.
it up.
Yo, do you have your? I need
Why
your
you yelling at me, bro? It's right here.
cigar cutter.
Why you yelling?
You got a pocket for your
Because
cigar?
the same room.
I'm talking to him that he's like he's
He's right here.
no, I'm not talking.
James smoked 2 blunts already, so he's like, hello.
All
hello,
right,
hello.
let's give Scott
Yeah,
the floor so he
I-
can finish this.
We're
interview.
going to wrap this up. Yeah, we're going to wrap this up. So I'm going to read the back, and then we can maybe go
I
around the
thought you
room
had
and
a
give like
V-cut.
a 1 out of 10
I don't
out of it, right? So
1 out of 10. Hold on. Listen.
yeah. So hang on. So first, Kirkland Signature 18-year Speyside single malt Scotch comes from one of the Scotland's most prestigious whiskey producing regions. The fine bottling was aged in ex-bourbon barrels that finished for 6 months in Oloroso sherry casks. The result is a single malt that is dark amber in color with aromas of sherry and dried fruit. Dude, they say there's fruit in everything.
Yeah.
Like everything we drink says fruit in it. It delivers a complex palate and a smooth, lingering butterscotch finish. A great sherried malt to share with friends.
That's
Which is
pre- I'm not
exactly
gonna
what
lie,
we're
that's
doing
pretty good.
right now.
For
I don't think it's bad.
$70, 18 a year. I mean, if you get 18-year Glenlivet, you're talking
How much
Yeah.
is
in the
that?
90s.
So again, this was like
over $100.
so this was like
$100.
$63, 1 at a time. Let's go around the room, give it a 1 out of 10. You go first.
I like this a little bit more than like Johnny Walker Black, and that's
I don't like
stretch.
John. I'm not a Johnny Walker.
Yeah,
guy.
so but that's like what everybody like compares it to. For the price and for the taste, I'm giving it a 8.5. But this is up there. This is
8.5.
This is pretty
what he
good.
says.
Like, just because the one thing I always talk about, like when I'm talking to people about bourbon and Scotch, because I have a good friend who's a big Scotch drinker,
It's,
and I'm like
it's
you.
two different animals.
I'm like you. I really like bourbon.
I'm a bourbon guy.
I'm a bourbon guy.
And the
too.
reason I like bourbon is because you could get a great bottle of Scotch for like $80, but you could get a great bottle of bourbon
For
for
40.
like, yeah, like 40
yeah,
bucks.
that is true.
And that's what draws me more to bourbon.
Sure.
So this is very good because the price wise, everything.
Steven, go ahead.
Rating, I would say around 8. I'm not.
That's
I
a
don't.
rookie rating.
No, it's not bad. But
I'm telling you.
if I go to
An
a
solid.
restaurant, I'm never ordering a
my
Scotch
God.
though. I'm never ordering a Scotch, but I've had them all. At least I've had them all. At least tried most of them, like the Macallans and the Levitts, and you're I even had Louis the 13th before. Oh yeah,
that too.
it's good.
Yep.
All right.
8.
Alan, what do you think?
I'm a hard 6. It reminds me of
Well, you're more of a bourbon guy. Though,
no.
right?
I love single malts, and I also love really peaty scotches. You know,
I don't
So you
even
like
fucking know what
you like
Lafrogue. I can never say
no what's
Lafroy.
that Nick
It tastes like wood.
Offerman
Oh,
shit?
cool.
Lagavulin.
Why didn't you just
Yeah,
say that?
yeah. Or Oban. But I like the
Oban's
the Balvinis. That's
Yeah,
how
that's
I
good.
pronounce it.
That's
I
good.
love
Yeah,
those,
that's
all
good.
of those. The Caribbean cask and stuff. This reminds me of my cousin had got me a bottle of Dewar's 12 once, And he
was
knew,
12.
he knew I liked scotch, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And he like, what the fuck is this? And whatever. I didn't even want to put it
That's
with
like
my other
mixed drink
scotches.
shit.
Yeah, it's good. Listen, for the price, it's good. It's not killing my throat. I hate all the Johnny Walkers. Even Johnny Walker Blue, I don't really like.
Johnny Walker Blue is so overrated.
It's a piney flavor at the bottom. It's,
But
I don't
it's
like
it's drinkable.
Garrett?
Definitely.
Like I said, I'm not a huge Scotch guy. I'm more of an Irish whiskey guy if I do it. But, I mean, like I said, smoothness and just overall, like, if you broke it out, like we're doing right now, we're just having a glass of Scotch together, I'm giving it a 7.
Oh, yeah, all day.
Yeah.
Give it a 7.
So I got two ratings for it because
I have one.
We only need one, dickhead.
One for his personality.
No, because by itself, it's a little flat. Like it doesn't have too much to it, in my opinion. It doesn't have too much flavor. It doesn't have a bite. Like there's nothing that
Easy to drink.
Yeah, it's
Crushable.
easy. It is easy to drink. Absolutely, 100%. Very easy to drink. It's very smooth, but there's not a lot of flavor. Or like there's a little oakiness to it, but it's not too much, and there's not much of a bite, so it doesn't really stand out to me. So I would give it like a 5.8 by itself. But with the cigar, it gives it a little added flavor, and I really enjoy it. And I'd bump it to like a 7.2 with the cigar.
All right.
There's something to that, man, because then the flavor of the cigar mixes with it.
Yes, because it doesn't have that much flavor, the cigar really goes nice and adds to that.
So I normally don't like these.
I would
peaty
borrow
ones.
James's cigar if he wasn't vaccinated.
First of all, gentlemen, his rating shouldn't count because he eats strawberry fucking ice cream.
Dude, you ever have the good?
And he's from
Time out. Do you ever have?
I don't even eat ice
the
cream.
strawberry shortcake,
like it.
good humor.
Oh, they're good. Yeah. They're
Those
good.
are
They
good.
make
Okay.
Blue Bunny.
I'm more of a
Blue Bunny.
toasted almond
Blue
guy
Bunny
myself.
makes those in ice cream
yes.
cones.
With
They
bars
literally
on
make.
it.
They put vanilla coating on the
From the ice
outside
cream
with
truck?
the
Oh my
with
God,
the
those are the best.
crunchies.
Yeah, the strawberry one. That's fantastic.
Yeah, see, that's what I eat. It's my pre-show.
What did you do to us,
It's my
Alan?
pre-show ritual. I have a strawberries.
Do you?
Yeah, I have a
I've seen you actually eating it while we've been getting ready.
Yeah. And he makes funny because it's just strawberry ice cream. It's fucking delicious. Fuck you, Alan.
Let me.
And then the way he says delicious, I just want to pull my cock out.
Yeah, get you all hard. Let me wrap this up, and then we'll wrap up the review. I normally don't like the peaty ones. They give me tremendous fucking heartburn. But this was pretty good compared to the other ones I've had. I like it a lot because of the price. It was $63.
That is good for
I've had me and our buddy Jerry. Shout out to Jerry. We recently texted because we had a memory come up where we were at a wedding and we got I think Macallan 21. And we paid $205 for 2 glasses.
I know, it's funny.
So this is only 4 years or a couple of years
How
younger.
does it compare to that, if you can remember?
This is just as good for
The price.
$140 less.
This comes back to
plus a whole
everything
bottle
branding.
compared to a
glass.
So,
Yeah.
Branding.
3 fingers.
yeah, not my thing. This type of whiskey, not my thing. I'm gonna give it.
It depends how.
Gonna give it a 6.5. Better end for the PD ones. That is our doomed review.
Yeah, I mean,
I like it.
So what's our total?
For $63, I'd buy it.
It's about a 7.
7.
Yeah.
Average
so
7.
overall average,
It's
it
good.
will say, is about a 7.
Yeah.
Kirkland has yet to disappoint. Just put
And
that
what's
way.
good,
Nice.
we will probably get this again because just hanging around a fire pit outside
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For
yeah.
$63,
For 60
Just
bucks?
handing it around and
Yeah.
absolutely.
Keep an eye out. I do have the base version, which that's going to be fun. We're not going to do that tonight. We'll do that in the future. But
All right,
I have
let's
the
do
base
final
one.
Cheers to the
Yeah.
review.
Hey,
Yeah, dude.
absolutely. We haven't
Hey.
even had a cheers. Cheers,
Boys,
guys.
together.
cheers to the boys
Cheers,
coming
boys.
together.
Cheers.
Let's go.
Gotcha.
Saving America.
Save America.
One drink at a time.
Yes.
Oh, that was good. Nice, man.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Let's
Back,
move on
back-
to our,
back to gangbanging on the
yeah.
government.
Wrap around.
Let's move. Are you gonna do a wraparound?
Yeah.
Let's
So,
move on to our next topic, man. What do you guys want to talk about
We
next?
could
I mean,
either
we have
do-
the Trump
We
indictment.
could either do a
have,
year in review or we
Okay.
could do a Donald Trump
Year in
indictment.
review.
A year in
Yeah,
review?
but there's
4
been,
months
like,
in.
Yeah,
4 years worth of
How
fucking
much shit
news.
have we already forgotten about?
I know.
Yeah, no one talks
So,
about the document. No one
I'll
talks
tell
about
you what,
shit
man,
about
We were
shit.
saying the other day when me and Cap were doing our show, right? I brought up the documents. He's like, "Fuck, I'm aware of this shit, and I forgot about the fucking documents." Like,
You know what I noticed
Oh,
about
shit,
this
on the
year
laptop.
specifically? I feel like this year specifically, every week has had a major fucking breaking story
it's
that's
April
huge.
1st.
hyper.
Every
Especially
week.
the month
It's
of March.
hyper.
Yeah, like you could go back each week
March
and be like
Madness,
some
baby.
major thing
agree.
happened. You know, I'm not saying there's
already news
always
about the Pope.
news.
Yep.
Pope's
Oh,
gonna have a bad mate.
Baseball opening week. It's been, dude, this is the wildest week.
Look, I mean,
remember.
look, the Trump indictment, then Trump getting arrested, the Nashville shooter,
Did they?
the Chinese spy
Did they
balloon.
raid
Every
Mar-a-Lago
week,
in 2023? Was that this year
Yeah,
or was it at the
yeah,
end of the year?
right.
no, it was after.
That was
No.
like January.
Yeah,
No,
like-
it wasn't right before midterms.
Maybe, I don't
It
know.
was, it was
Okay.
November.
No,
it, was right, it was right before
I don't
midterms.
think so.
I think
I
they
just
wrapped-
feel like
Was it?
lately,
Time is
lately
fucking
the-
flying.
Sometimes,
That's how
sometimes
crazy it is. Within 6
Fly.
months, we're like, I don't even know when that happened anymore.
You know how I know, man.
Flat
Like you
Earth
have to be
and Tataria?
careful when you
This
do a
is awesome.
podcast. When you do a podcast, you have to be careful sometimes.
Flat Earth
Like
and Tataria?
we record something, I need to make sure that the window of release is not too far away because
That's why you got to
me
go
and you
live.
have
something.
talked
Yeah, I
about
know
this
you're
Right,
right.
you gotta go
You're
live.
right.
Drop it.
Just
drop
sometimes
it
you just got to
because
drop it
it's
because
switching
so
quick.
quickly that it might be like with the Trump stuff, right? Like we recorded on Monday and we were like, seems like it's over. He's clear. Now he's not. So like within a few days. So.
Yeah, now your take is irrelevant. It's a wrap.
Mar-a-Lago,
Right.
Mar-a-Lago was rated August 8th, 2022.
Yeah, so
Okay.
And
Wow.
the midterms were November. So
But regardless,
6
still,
weeks before the midterms?
we had the
Sorry,
Biden.
12 weeks?
Biden's had classified documents. We forgot about that already.
These are all precedents.
Ashley
setters,
Biden's
though.
Yeah.
diary,
Yeah,
Yes.
but I think
James O'Keefe.
I'm wondering if you
Yeah.
guys agree with me, and I'm sure most of you guys do. Like, I think these are all precedent setters. I think me and you have talked about it, or me and you have talked about it, where they get Donald Trump, big air quotes,
Always.
on something, and then they find it on somebody else. Like his tax returns. Now they're able to look into
me and you
Hunter's
spoke
shit.
about this, yeah.
Yes, it was me and you. Now they're allowed to look into Hunter's shit. Documents. They got Trump. Now they're looking at,
Biden.
Biden, but they also, Obama has it, Pence
Who's-
has it,
who's-
so
so-
on.
so
Now
I
who's
have a
they?
feeling-
they're gonna
Who's
arrest
they?
him. I think it's setting another precedent.
No,
that
it
they
is.
will be able to arrest
It is.
somebody
It
else.
is setting the precedent. 100%. I agree with you because at the end of the day, if they could do it to Donald Trump for the crimes that they allege they say he's doing, which there is no crimes, and even what they're indicting him on right now is a misdemeanor, and it's something Hillary Clinton did with the Steele dossier. But if they could do this to Donald Trump, now it won't look like optically. If imagine if Donald Trump when he was in office the first time, he arrested Hillary Clinton and he arrested Barack Obama and he arrested some of these criminals. There would be chaos in the streets. Like you can't arrest a former president. You can't go after
unless his
it's
name's
never been
Donald
done
Trump.
before.
Yeah.
It's never been done before.
No, it's never been done before. But now it's being done to Donald
Yeah.
Trump. So now that it happens to Donald Trump, and they realize that there is no crime, that there's nothing, that's just all for optics. Then they can arrest these actual criminals where there is plenty of evidence of crime.
So let me talk to you about this for a second. So I've been seeing all this stuff. Trump is found guilty of something, quote unquote, guilty of something, and then Biden gets found guilty. The perfect example is the classified documents.
Yep.
And if Biden's got them, Obama's got them,
Yep.
Bill Clinton's got them, Bush has got them. Fine. So now Trump had the right to declassify these, and we also find out that Biden's guilty. The way the gears of government work so slowly, I have a funny feeling all the trials and investigations are going to start concluding right before the 2024 election.
Oh, 100%.
So I think like this is almost like a planned event that like Trump falls on the knife for X, Y, and Z. Biden's found guilty of X, Y, and Z. It becomes big hush hush. People actually investigate it. And at the worst possible time, it's going to come to headline news.
I have the inverse opinion of all of you. I know what you guys are saying, that like I think you guys are trying to say like this is good because and there's like some magic force that's like setting a precedent so that later they could actually get the real bad guys. What I think they're doing is they don't give a fuck. Like the cathedral will kill you if they could, right? So they're trying to go after Donnie because he's some sort of, he's like a thorn in the side.
He's a threat.
But what they do is, with like independent media, people like us, and everybody who's like, this is fucking bullshit every time something happens, they try to after save face. and they'll put out a thing like, "Oh, look, well, we did it to Biden too. We found the documents or whatever."
Yes,
to try, because it's all propaganda at the end of the day. They're trying to kind of save face, while at the same time they're trying to destroy people who are in opposition to them. So I don't see the magic world where like the government is doing this or the people behind the scenes are doing this, because like there's going to just be a whole bunch of arrests and everybody's going to go down.
Let me ask
I see them as the ultimate end villains.
Let me ask you this. Oh, so I agree with you. The government is the villain, but let me ask you this: do you think that everybody in the government is bad?
No, most people are just useful idiots. That just
most people are, but even some people in leadership roles. Do you think every leader in these? Like, do you think some of them actually care about our Constitution, care about this country?
I'd say it's a very low. I'd say it's a very low percentage, but I
agree with you. I'm in agreement with you.
Well, what would you say that percentage is?
That's what I'm saying.
It doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter, but I would say definitely less than 20%. Definitely, definitely less than 20%.
I was just curious on what your point of view is.
But now, and this is what I always go back to, because we know now for a fact it's no longer a conspiracy theory, even though we've been saying this for literally decades now, that the government was involved in JFK's death.
We were
right.
That was another one of the major things that happened.
That no one's talking about. Exactly, that's another one's talking about.
UFOs, China balloons.
Let me ask you this. Do you think JFK was working by himself?
No.
Do you think he was working with an organization of patriots to save our country and save our republic?
Sure, at the time.
Don't you think the reason why he got killed in broad daylight, the way he was and so publicly, wasn't a message to the other patriots working with JFK? Like, hey, if we could do this to a sitting U.S. president in broad fucking daylight, guess what we could do to you?
And sit on it for
so I agree. Good. I'm glad we're on the same page.
You don't think it was the mafia?
Like, I agree that's definitely a possibility.
Hand in hand.
All together.
Yes, hand in hand. I think
the government hired the mafia.
But they worked all the time together. This is not something that's undocumented. I'm a big fan of Michael Franzese and what he's doing right now. He talks about it regularly, how we used to work with the government regularly, how we had a lot of control in the government. But my point is, I think a lot of those patriots never went away, and they kept working, but they worked very quietly, and they were a lot more organized, and they had to wait for a time when they can actually do something. And they waited long enough. Think about this. We know that these people never thought they'd get caught. We know this why? Because they used the same systems, the Googles, the Blackberries, the same systems.
From Clinton till Obama, there was not a question of them losing any type of ground whatsoever.
Nothing. But
you should maybe load up that gun, man. I feel like the FBI's going to roll up on. We're all in the same place right now. We're an easy target.
Airstriker ass.
Let's all go down fighting.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the fucking deer and
all use them. And the NSA didn't just document what we're doing. They documented everything. They have everything on these servers.
Good, bad, and ugly.
Yeah, every text message, every ping location of them.
Just to add a caveat on your point, like you're talking about, is everybody bad? No, like Edward Snowden was a great guy. He was a guy in the system who saw things.
I think he was a little bit of a Trojan horse myself.
Could be, but I'm just saying, like, he was a guy in the system who then was like, hey, whistleblow, this is fucked up.
He went from the CIA to the NSA for a reason, I think.
Well, what about the whole McAfee conspiracy? He gave the government his antivirus programming so he could fucking rake in all of their own
Trojan horse.
Yeah,
it's very possible. No, it's very possible. But my point is, I still think there is a lot of great patriots that are working behind the scenes, collecting this evidence and making an airtight case. Because if we arrest, like, let's just say we arrest Hillary Clinton and we arrest these criminals, or Hunter Biden, these criminals that are clear as day criminals, and they have so much evidence to arrest them, what does that accomplish? Like, at the end of the day, for our end goal, does that stop the globalist agenda? No. Does that stop what they're trying to accomplish?
Doesn't even dam the river.
Nope. No. They fill the void. So if you take down one person and get one person, we're going to celebrate, be a hooray, hooray, hooray. But in reality, it's not going to make a dent in what they're trying to do. So if you want to take down and stop what they're doing and actually change this world and stop this globalist agenda and stop these evil fucks from doing what they're doing, it has to be a very detailed, long, drawn-out operation that's over time, because they've been playing the long game for a very, very long time.
Just like the Nazis.
And the Patriots, I think, are doing something very similar. And point in case of patriots that are working inside of the government, Donnie, at a lot of his rallies, he tells this one story about taking down ISIS. And he would go to Mattis. He's like, all right, how long will it take to stop ISIS and take them down, the ISIS caliphate? 3 years, sir. It'll take 3 years. And Donnie's like, that's too fucking long. We need to make this happen quicker. And 3 years? Get the hell out of here. We need to go. So he's like, when I was in Iraq visiting our troops, I was like, you know what? I'm going to talk to some of the generals that have boots in the ground that are actually doing something. I met this great general, General Raisin Kane. And I sat down with him. I talked to him. I was like, General, how long will it take to take down ISIS? Well, sir, it's not my position. I just follow orders and do as I'm told. Well, I'm the president, and I want to know what your plan was. Well, sir, I'd have a much different plan and an attack. I'd probably have it done inside 3 weeks. You said what?
Yeah.
You can attest to this.
3 weeks?
All the time.
3 weeks? What do you mean 3 weeks? Sir, we'd probably have enough time to have a couple beers afterwards when we're done, sir. All right, let's walk through this plan and let's make this happen. And then they take out ISIS and take out the ISIS caliphate. So there are patriots inside these places that actually know what to do, but the way our government, the way that our military is structured, a lot of people can't maneuver. So when you have people in position of power like Donald Trump, who's like, you know, I don't care about your rank and your order, what you have to do. I'm the president of the United States. I'm trying to solve these issues. If you know how to solve it, I want the best man for the job. Let's make it happen and do it. And this is what we need.
What about equality?
And equity.
You're making a good point.
Diversity.
You're making a good point, and I'm not ruling it out because what you're like describing is what has happened to an extent.
Yep.
Like the left's long march through the institutions, essentially. I don't like
being
the paradigm
exposed.
usually, but it's being exposed. But like it's been done from the opposite side. So what you're saying is like it's trying to also be done from the other side at the same time.
There's good guys working.
Now, I'm all for that. I'm all for like people taking the top-down approach to using I'm all for people trying to wield the ring of power for good. Yeah. Me as an anarchist, I just don't see it as possible. I'd rather get rid of the whole thing. But I like what you're saying. I hope what you're saying is true.
Can I further? Can I further my point?
Sure.
I don't mean to cut you off, Garrett. But if we were to arrest people like Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama
or Anthony Fauci,
these public figures that for whatever reason people still fawn over, if we were to just arrest them and not have public disclosure of how corrupt these establishments are, like if we didn't allow the people to see it with their own eyes, because now more than ever, everybody, it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on, you're like, yo, something is going on. Like this is fucking weird. And
I always point that out. I said, you don't like the Republicans, I don't like the Democrats. We could agree, both are fucked.
And because of the events that are going on, people are seeing now more than ever. I've been saying this stuff for decades. James, you're crazy. This will never happen. Blah blah blah. You're a fucking crazy conspiracy. Now everybody is talking about it in some way or another. And if an arrest happened now, people will now, like if Joe Biden got arrested, there would be people that are upset, but more people would be like, I get it. Like I fucking get it.
You know what?
Son of a bitch.
You know what I see the big problem is, and James, we talk about this sometimes. It's forget about the names we all know. Forget about the names that everybody
agree with
knows.
this 100%.
Okay?
I know where you're going.
Now, go into the deep state. What is the deep state? The deep state, to me, is the unelected bureaucrats that have been anchored in government,
and
the financial system.
They don't get voted in
right,
and out.
in
They're
civil
there for
service
the long
jobs.
haul.
Just like this TikTok bill.
So literally, you have people that are unaccountable to we the people. They're not elected. They got jobs. They're there. They look at the president and say, president's going to come and go. Congressman's going to come and go. Senator's going to come and go. I'm here for forever. I can influence and craft policies from staffers to upper leadership, and that's
to
why
the guy who just works in the CIA.
Putin called it out.
And that is why Donald Trump, that's one of the things he wanted to do was pass laws so that the executive branch could actually fire these unelected bureaucrats, because they are the people that are running the show behind the scenes. They laugh at the presidency. They laugh at all of these elected positions.
Putin literally said the same thing.
Yes, and these are the people that make up the deep state and the swamp. These are the people that we don't know their names. Yep. We don't know them. These are 9 to 5 people that show up to their job.
Billionaires and millionaires.
Well, that's the thing.
There.
Like George Soros isn't just funding the regular politicians. He's actually funding like the school board and the all down to the lower municipal level.
These guys are playing
Soros.
long
game.
And it's not just Soros. He's just the one that we know of.
Just like Jeffrey Epstein was the only one we knew who had an island. There's 20 others either of
So,
them.
real quick. What me and you recently talked about? We talked about the Mises Caucus, the Libertarian Party Mises Caucus plan to focus on local stuff. So the Libertarian Party, the New Guard, their plan is to focus on local things like the sheriff. Like, let's get
people don't understand how
50,000 Libertarian
really
sheriffs elected. Right? That's the same plan George Soros has.
That's what he's doing with secretaries of state who run elections in states.
Right. So yes, I agree with that. That's exactly what he's doing.
And it's not just George Soros. There's so many others like him that we don't even know.
All right, so forget about the outside government influence. Let's talk about government employees for a second. So let's just take any job, all right? You have a job. You're there 15 years. I just get hired. You're going to train me on how to do that job. Okay? Right? So you're in, for the lack of a better word, grooming the next bureaucrat, unelected bureaucrat, to come in who's a member of the deep state, who's getting paid a government salary, who has a civil service government job. They are the deep state. It's those people that really are the problem.
Can I use AOC as an example for that? I mean, say what you want about where she came from. I know, she came in as a sense of an anti-establishment person. But now, and as a kind of like anti-war leftist person, right? But now when you go look at her, I mean, she's pro-war. She's pro every single establishment thing they propose. What happened? Right? I mean, again, we could debate like if she actually was ever anti-establishment or not. No, but she came in, and that's exactly what happened. She got groomed by the people in charge. Hey, if you want to get anything accomplished here, you have to play by the rules.
And she's got nothing accomplished.
So to Alan's point,
who does have anything accomplished?
Think of how easy it is to do. Like, the majority of the population don't work jobs because they're passionate about their job. Like, people don't go get a government job like to like, yes, this is like, I'm excited to like be a pencil pusher at the government.
I'm gonna fuck the little guy.
Yeah, like I'm so excited to do this. Like they're doing it for the pension, they're doing it for the paycheck to put food on their table. So they show up for training, and the person before them is showing them like, yo, this is just how we do the job, and I'm here. I'm just trying to get paid. So like, I'm gonna just take whatever you're telling me, because this is how we do it.
I never thought of it that way before, but even when it comes to like the job market, government's inefficient. It doesn't provide you with a good job. It provides you with like the bare
one thing
minimum
you can count on is a government employee not doing their job.
Yeah,
go ahead, Garrett. Go ahead.
See, this is where and this is what I like about all our open discussion, is I have a very different point of view, and I think me and Alan actually align a little bit on this more, because he's an entrepreneur now, right? You did have a government job, but you are an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur.
I'm still a CIA operative.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like, I've only worked for myself since I was 22 years old, where Steven's been in the military, you've worked for somebody, you've worked for somebody, you've worked for somebody. And I think like I just have a different perspective on like getting shit done, and I understand the perspective of grooming and this and that. And I think like you're talking about the top down approach, you're talking about the bottom up approach. People like me, we have a hard time with both of them.
You're in the middle
because we take action. Entrepreneurs take action.
Yes.
You're telling me to wait. You're telling me we need to build. You're telling me this. You're telling me that. I'm from the school of thought of, let's start throwing shit at the fucking wall and see what sticks, and then, or like a shotgun spray, and then we.
I think everyone has their role to play.
But that's the thing.
I think everyone has their role to play. I think we could walk and chew gum at the same time. That's why, I like what the Libertarian Party's doing from a very bottom up approach. I'm not going to stop Trump from trying to do the top-down approach, nor would I oppose you doing the entrepreneur. Everyone has their role, and this is good.
And I agree. Yeah. I agree, but you look at what's going on with this Trump indictment and the narrative that they're already starting to spin, and they've been spinning for over a year now. Like, there's been articles and
this is one of their last-ditch efforts.
Oh, 100%, but the newscasters, it's Civil War is brewing. Like, there's literally headlines where they're talking about a civil war coming, and they're already setting the stage for, like, events to happen when Donald Trump gets arrested. And this is the narrative that they want to happen. Like, they want us to fight each other.
Of course
they want us.
But you're in that catch-22 of the narrative of this is what's to happen, and the narrative is sitting on your hands until it's too late.
It's not sitting on your. It's not sitting on your hands.
It is though.
It's not though. It's
at the same time.
I agree a little bit, because
this is where we disagree.
So January 6th
because I'm a man of action. I'm not a man of wait for Department B to fucking do this. And I'm not saying like, okay, we need to go weapons hot, because me and Steven have talked about this. everybody's trying to avoid this like the plague. But at the same time, what steps are we really doing to make sure that this paradigm doesn't shift so far that we can't swing it
relying
back?
on the Patriots that James was just
problem.
talking about.
I don't like relying
I
on
understand
nobody
that.
but my fucking
But see,
self.
now the problem though is January 6th happened, and we
It
understand.
did. Real
quick. No one here is relying on anybody because we all do a podcast and we're
Yes.
all active.
No.
So
Yes.
first of all, no one's relying.
But,
right?
but the general public. I'm
Yeah,
not
I
saying.
understand.
I'm not
Sure.
saying you.
Sure.
Like I know
Doom
we all
Nation.
do our thing. I know we all do our thing, and this is how we're able to support the cause and do what we do because we're putting the information out in front of the people. We're doing what we're supposed to be doing from as little as what we can do. But just me personally, on my personal opinion, is like I don't feel like I do enough. Even though I do 3-4 shows, I raise my children right. I'm trying to be self-sufficient.
I agree with that, sure.
I'm trying to do this, but we need to have more people that are trying to move in that same direction to create that wave.
I agree with you, Garrett. But
like
that's
this.
that's exactly what we're doing. Like our job, our role in this whole entire thing is to create more of us.
Patience.
I know you don't have patience. It's very difficult.
want it now.
But again, you have to think about what they've been doing, and there's a reason why they control every aspect of our life in every industry because they play the long game so
100
good.
years of bullshit in
wait,
3
No,
years.
but the action that you want, really think about it. I agree with you that we need action, but the action that you want and the quickness and swiftness, the only way to accomplish that is to go kinetic, is to do something like that.
And that's the problem.
We're not there yet.
That's the problem. Because,
Nobody wants that.
Because
No.
of January.
I don't want my kids. I have children. I don't
Yes.
want them
But
to
because
do
of
that.
January 6th, we're not going to go kinetic
throttle
as
people.
quick. So now
That was a great play by them.
I don't
it
think
was.
we ever will. I really don't. I pray that we don't.
Because
don't wanna go
any rally that you start talking about, and Trump gets arrested, all right, we're all going to meet here. No. This is a Fed trap. Whether it is or it's not.
Well, that's the thing. You can never
they set the
assemble
groundwork.
peacefully because it's automatically doomed.
And at the same time,
Fed trap,
and
right?
at the same time, again, I hate the paradigm, but let's just use it because it makes sense. The other side is out in the streets. They're storming the Texas
burning
State Capitol.
fucking
They're
buildings
storming
down.
the Capitol
With
in
that
Tennessee.
repercussion, though, they have zero repercussions.
So to an extent, I agree.
Transurrections.
Obviously, we're all here aware of like another false flag. We're aware not to get in. Caught in one. Yeah. But then at the same time, it's like, hey,
still
well,
gotta do something.
Right. When do we do
go.
something? So, like, right now, especially
Basically, we need to start taking the risk.
Right now,
You got
in
it.
like Tennessee, for example, right? This whole shooting happened, and you see people stormed like the capital of Tennessee or
See
whatever.
the trans shaman?
And
Yeah.
like they're in Tennessee, it's definitely the squeaky wheel, right? Where like it's the anti-gun people are a very small minority.
But it's the
in
people
Tennessee.
that fuck their cousins, too.
But they rally.
Listen, but they rally. Right. What I'm trying to say
1%
is
of the
If you
population
fuck
is
your
still a lot
cousin,
of
you got a
people.
gun.
So what I'm trying to say is, like
you on
in
my side?
Tennessee, I'm just using Tennessee as a case study here. It's a very small minority of people. They stormed the Capitol. They're out there. David Hogg is backing them up. Hey, fucking gun rules, whatever.
Yeah, he loves how he
But
shows up now.
in Tennessee, that is a very small minority. But now they're very loud because of this thing that happened. They're on TV. They're on Twitter.
Yeah, but the
et cetera.
media portrays them to
Right.
be loud.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter. If you are a gun-toting patriot in Tennessee, you better do something. Like, you better put together a pro-gun rally
What
or
they did in
something.
Virginia?
And I'm just saying, like, right now, like, something actionable. Put together a massive pro-Second Amendment
They did it in Virginia.
thing in Tennessee. I'm sorry, but Tennessee is a place where this is happening.
Where they had
right now.
transurrection.
And you have to show
I'm
up.
saying
Like,
that's an
I
example.
want to see the camera of 100,000 people in Nashville.
That's what
or
they did in Virginia.
Just-
They
wherever
have
you know what I'm saying?
100,000 people.
Not
they
shooting.
don't
I'm
show
saying
it.
like here, like no. I don't care that you're a small minority that doesn't want guns. We like guns here. We're pro Second Amendment. Sorry, right? You guys believe in democracy. This is
What was
democracy.
the episode you guys
So
did?
I-
Now's the time to stop being fucking nice.
Yeah,
Yes.
whatever you mean.
And
Correct.
every
Correct.
day it proves more, and I've actually used that as a mantra in my head.
Yes.
because I've sugarcoated with so many people around me, even though
Gotta be mean.
He did it
I've
today with my mother.
But yes, I
Sure.
sugarcoated myself. But like, it's coming to the point where we have to stop being nice because
Yes.
what are we doing? We're coddling the ignorance.
just like
because
drawing
we
the
don't
line.
wanna- Yeah, no, we have to start drawing the line.
And
you
you're
know?
Gary, you're a nice person, so I'm sure like again, like
He
this
is
was
not.
this was Matt Walsh's thing, but like I've had to. He is no, he's a nice person. He's a nice.
He's a
person.
real piece of
I've
shit.
had to remember
A big
to be
shitty teddy
mean.
bear.
Like
Real piece of
I've had
shit.
to literally have to remember to be mean sometimes
Yeah.
because like
Yeah.
it doesn't come naturally to us to just be an outright
'Cause
mean
we wanna
person.
help.
So like let's use Twitter for an example. If I'm trying to make a point or criticize somebody on there,
better at being
I literally would be like, wait a minute, this wasn't mean enough. Yeah. And then like I will rewrite my thing to be more mean.
Yeah. You're like,
So-
retract that last
So
statement.
me and Alan talked about this
Fuck
exact
you.
situation, and the captain over here brought this up. We have to stop being scared of what they're going to do and the plants that they're going to put in there, and that was the whole purpose of January 6th.
Alan's very good at that.
To stop because at the end of the day, if we're too scared to show up and peacefully protest, because that's what the large majority of people did. They're 100% good patriots got caught up in the Antifa agitators and did stupid things. 100%. I'm not saying
know
that.
some.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's what happens when a crowd gets together.
Yeah,
too.
but
Like, a
at
mob
the end of the day,
mentality takes
the
over.
large majority of the people showed up there and peacefully protested, and just like in Virginia, with the exactly with what you're talking about, having a huge 2A rally in Virginia, there was 100,000 people there, and the guy was walking around, this big fat dude was walking around with 50 cal, and they took a big picture with these two black guys. These two black guys, and they were like, yeah, see, like, we're not racist, like we're
the
just hanging
Boogaloo
out.
Boys
Yeah,
were
and they're
really
just
good
hanging
with
out.
that,
And we need to organize on that level. And yes, is it going to be infiltrated? Yeah, 100%. It's going to be infiltrated. Are there going to probably be people trying to start violence? Yes, 100%. But my message to those people and to the people that are going to peacefully protest, be on high alert for those people.
Exactly.
Like, for example, when
Call them out. Call them out. Make them famous.
when Ray Epps was saying, I'm going to the Capitol, the whole argument that we have is him saying that, and the crowd is saying, Fed.
Right.
Like, if the crowd
We
didn't
have
do
been
that,
calling it
if the
out.
crowd didn't film him and the crowd didn't start chanting that, we wouldn't even know that Ray Epps did that. Like, we'd have no fucking
Go
clue.
unnoticed.
And he's probably one of 25, 30 guys
that's
that did that.
That's what I'm saying. There's
He just
probably
caught the
a
spotlight.
ton of other
he just caught the
people that
film.
were doing that. So if you're there and there's some funny business going on, you need to be filming it. You need to be reporting it. You need to be doing whatever you can to put it out on social media so they're aware that there are agitators. Like, call them out.
But what is it? But like, no, you're absolutely right. I agree with James 100% on that one. But like the problem is, as well, is the people that are putting it out there, the people that are shouting from the rooftops. We are so fucking shadow banned. So we are so throttled. Even though we're doing the work, we're trying to do the things, we're trying to put the right things out there. All of us have a very hard time growing and showing and spreading
use TikTok.
the message.
I agree with you, but
TikTok
it's different when it's the average citizen. Like who, we don't even know who filmed the Ray Epps footage. Like, I have no idea who filmed that footage of him.
We don't even know if that person got disappeared yet or
Yeah,
not.
exactly. Like, I have no idea.
God.
I have no idea who that is. He's not a famous podcaster, social media influencer.
Person who was
he's
there.
just some person that was there and happened to catch that and film
So
it.
wait, now,
and he posted
think
it
of
on
this.
the internet somewhere, and somebody picked that up and shared it, and it got
Think of this.
viral.
Think of this. Somebody who listens to your show went to January 6th and they showed him a picture of you.
Yes.
And that's just because he was there and he went back to his hotel room. Think when they figure out the IP address of that guy's phone who filmed Ray Epps and what they went to his house and said. You think they
If
showed
he's
him
not
one-
already detained.
Yeah. If they showed him one or two pictures, they probably ramrodded that door down, and we never heard about it.
And that's one of the big issues with the
They're doing
TikTok
that to
censorship
people
bill
all around the country.
is that they'll be able to squash that video, get in public instantly. It will. They can put a tag on that algorithm, and it's gone.
Well, if you look at the
and you'll never
Twitter-
see videos like that
If
ever.
you look at the last Twitter files, they literally talked about how if
Let's see if he's able to make it past tomorrow.
I was gonna say go left.
if somebody said something about the vaccine that ended up going viral and it became a negative viral sensation,
no one will see it.
the company that decided all this shit was like, oh, then that's misinformation.
Of course.
That's all it needed to do. It needed to have a negative outcome, and it was decided as misinformation. Once the Restriction Act goes through, you start talking about whether they run Joe Biden or not during the next election. Whoever the next puppet is that they're hiding in the basement, you start calling out shit about disinformation.
I think the
the Trojan horse
Restrict
of it.
Act is an attempt to throw the. What do you normally say? Like the death by 1,000 cuts, right?
Yeah, death by-
The Restrict
That was
Act
me.
is an attempt
That
to
was
throw.
I say that
To,
too.
it's an attempt to throw the 1,000 cuts in prison. Essentially, that's what it is. Like, I think they've noticed, like, oh my God, the 1,000 cuts.
Well,
they are a problem.
you know what
we
they-
need to like do something.
Think
that
of all
can
the
get rid
things
of
that
the
they tried to
1,000
do.
cuts.
But have you noticed too? I want to see if you noticed this too. Canada used to follow America.
Yeah.
Right.
Now
My
we
one
follow
business.
Canada.
my one business partner's Canadian, right? And he'll say, and we talk about it. It's,
Communist, another CIA plan.
No. It's very,
Christ.
it's very telling because I really get to see their perspective from somebody who's grown up there for 40 years and really see how like they're molded, but they're starting to wake up. But Canada always followed the U.S. and now we're fucking because like they literally passed this bill in Canada.
Yep.
What fucking 2
England
months
did
ago?
it years
3
ago.
months ago? You know, like they're still.
I don't think
debating
I
about it
don't
on the
think they are
stage.
as much like us as we thought they were. I don't think
They
they
are
have
not.
that. No, they don't. I'm not saying that they're not
No,
at all.
No, they are, but like they are.
No, their government is
funny
still
enough,
ruled by
I've been-
England.
I've been
It's still
watching-
ruled by
Yeah,
England.
right.
It's still,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
still,
right,
it's
correct.
still,
I've-
it's
Yeah, literally.
like,
Just historically, they still are like a.
So
yeah.
They're
England has been arresting people for social media posts for years. They've been doing this since before 2015.
Yes.
Australia has been doing it. These are all territories of the crown. Canada is just
Yes.
the same.
Yeah.
And the difference that we have
But I
is
thought when the Queen died, they relinquished. All
no,
that.
absolutely
man,
not.
it doesn't
Absolutely
matter.
not. It's
There's a
now under
succession.
it's now under
Since
King
somebody
Philip. It's
else
under
became a
King,
trillionaire.
Have you
Yeah,
guys
I
have you
know.
guys seen Majid Nawaz, like his documentation of all this shit, especially? And I don't know if you guys are familiar with him.
Yeah, he was on Rogan. Yeah.
He was on Rogue. He's like a former Islamic
Terrorist.
terrorist.
Oh, this guy.
Who
Yeah,
had
he's
like
good.
like he understood. He
Had an epiphany.
Woke up,
Like,
an
whoa.
epiphany.
Now he
of how-
works for the CIA.
Yeah.
No. Now he's like he has that he has like that perspective.
Alan would know.
Alan would know.
So to your point, Skaggs, like you were saying, they're trying to do away with the death by 1,000 cuts. I agree with you because really look at what they have done to us, the independent journalists, the people that have been reporting accurately for years now. They have censored us. They have shadow banned us. They have kicked us off of platforms, permanently banned us. They've permanently banned us, and it still hasn't worked. Like we keep coming back. We keep coming back stronger. We are more unified. We work better together.
Here we are in this fucking
All that being said,
building
when
right
the
now,
class
right?
action
Black Shack
lawsuits-
right now.
Because of that, yes.
Chilling.
So they've tried everything to silence our voice and to shut us up and intimidate us and make
No,
us
we
not
should be,
want to
though.
do this, but yet we continue. So they're like, all right, well, what else are we going to do? Because like 20 years ago, if they were doing this 20 years ago, we'd have no fucking clue. If they rigged the election we have no idea. It would be whatever the media is saying to us. And we're like, oh, okay, this is what's happening. Because we'd have forums and like a few small little chats where people are
AOL chat.
yeah,
rooms,
exactly. Where they're talking about some conspiracies, but there would be no other mainstream
Yeah.
narrative of a counter narrative of what they're feeding us. So they have total control of the information. And now since social media was a double-edged sword for them, and
That's the
they
greatest
lost
weapon
control.
social media
They
became
lost
for us.
control of it. They used it for a control piece so they could figure out what we do, but they didn't realize that we were resilient and
And then
we'd
this
come
law
together.
returns control.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Is
That's all it does. It returns
to
control.
Skaggs' point. It's
It's
to
the
get
new
rid of
F-
death.
it's
They
the new
realize the death
FCC.
by
That's
1,000
all
cuts
it is.
doesn't work. Like they're not going to stop us. We're too big now. We're too organized.
There'll be a new
It
government
ends-
entity, and it would be like the internet.
Yeah,
The anti-communist online
It'll be like
department.
now
It's-
the Department
of
right?
Truth.
It'll be
Everything
so-
it says it's supposed
sure,
to be, it will be the opposite.
Real
of
quick,
it.
real quick. I've been reading.
this will bring a new entity to the government.
Yes.
Yes.
Real quick, I've been reading Michael Malice's The White Pill book. It's like very good. It's a lot about the Soviet Union and the history. The Berlin Wall was called from their point of view, it was not called the Berlin Wall. It was called the anti-fascist rampart. The Soviet Union
out all the fascists.
named the wall the anti-fascist rampart. So they were trying to
watch
say
any of that
everyone who
Euro
was
yet?
in. No, not yet. I will.
Mother
Everyone who was in
fucker!
West Berlin, which was like the democracy, pro-freedom
Yes.
part of Berlin.
Yes.
The Soviets considered them the fascists, and the wall was to protect them from the fascists.
Yes.
Right. So it's the same thing. That's just a physical object.
Yes.
That's
That's a wild time in this country.
in this
in the
world.
world.
What a time
Way
to be
way
alive.
more wild right now.
Imagine
What do you
walking down,
like?
walking
right
down
now-
the street and just past this big wall with guards and
Sure.
barbed wire, and the other side is a completely different world.
I got a piece of the Berlin Wall.
Yeah.
Well, are you
Yeah.
serious?
Yeah, I do. I gotta find it.
So-
but I had a piece of the Berlin Wall for years.
But
you know?
right now, what's going on in around the globe is directly associated with what happened at that wall, like with what the treaty was with Gorbachev
Yep.
and NATO. It was like, all right, we're gonna take down this wall and unite everybody, but like you're not going any more east, like no more. Like you're stopping right there. And look at how the fact that Russia allowed them to get as far as they got in Ukraine
Is amazing.
Is like the line in the sand.
It's
like
amazing.
I can't believe we've gotten this far and they
that
haven't
actually
stood their ground.
is very makes me very
show,
optimistic
right?
because that shows me that as
Restraint?
crazy as the Russians are, they can be restrained, and that shows me that like deep down there somewhere there is good faith. They don't want to fight us. No. They don't want a war. We have encroached on them, and they. So many junctions. They could have done this. Now they finally did.
We
literally
took
took
a reverse play of what's
on.
going
It literally took us expanding the empire to
From
their
World War
actual
II.
border. To
Yeah.
their actual border.
Yes.
From World War II
That's
to
exactly
now.
my point. Like all of those events, like history, it's all connected. Like it all goes back to these powers back in the 70s and the 80s and the things that were going on. And so many people forget. What do you?
You want water?
You gonna pass out over there? You fucking.
A lot of smoke in here. Actually,
he wants to lord over us.
All I did was stand up.
Yeah. All right, Garrett, can you get me a bottle of water?
He was taller sitting on the stool.
I was.
I love history, dude. So I love seeing how history ties into this.
Well,
everything that's going on right now.
That's one of the things that I try to focus on. Like, I'm probably one of the more conspiratorial people in the room.
And gay.
Yeah, super gay. Super duper gay. But when I talk about a lot of these quote-unquote conspiracies that just continue to turn out to be true.
Shocking.
But
spoilers.
I like to use historical events or something that happened in history or happened already to hammer home the point that it's happening still to this day, if not the same amount or much on a much larger scale. There's so many things that when you say, oh, the media is controlled by the CIA, they're like, oh, they would never do that. I'm like, well, did you ever watch the Church Committee? Like,
I like to use Mao's Cultural Revolution.
Yes.
Mao's Cultural Revolution is literally happening right
Bingo.
now in
100%.
America.
It's still
It's
going.
not the exact same thing, but it's the same playbook.
Same playbook. It's just with social media instead of with I mean, schools are obviously involved as well. But they didn't have social media now. But same thing with false flag events. They're like, oh, our government would never hurt us. I'm like, well, Operation Northwoods tells differently. Like they literally wanted to storm the beaches of Miami and kill innocent Americans just to go to war with Cuba.
They got us into war in fucking Vietnam by a false flag.
Yep.
Literally. Like
Gulf of Tonkin.
Not only is this possible,
weapons of mass
they're good at it too. Like, they know how to
Jim Morris's father was one of the guys who coordinated the Gulf of Tonkin.
One of the officers
and it's funny because when you watch Jim Morrison interviews, I'm a big Doors fan. And one of the conspiracies one of the conspiracies that I've dug into because I love music, especially classic music. One of the conspiracies that I've always dove into is the 27 Club, and one of them that really stood out to me was Jim Morrison's death. Like they didn't do an autopsy, they didn't do anything. He just died in the bathtub, and there's so many different accounts.
The same guy who did the fucking
there's so many different
autopsy
accounts.
on JFK did it on fucking Jeffrey Epstein. They've been flying this guy around the fucking country for 60 years.
The thing with Jim Morrison, if you watch his old interviews, he laid out the music industry today and what it would be back in the 60s. Like he's like, yo, there's gonna be no musicians. As soon as there's gonna be one guy playing, standing behind a big machine, controlling all of the music. It's gonna be all electronic sounds. And he literally predicted all of this back in the 60s. And come to find out, his father was directly involved in the Gulf of Tonkin, and I'm sure had some intelligence training behind him if he was involved in that mission. He was leadership in that mission that got us directly into World War II. And you go back to the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand. That's another one. That's like all of these wars.
That's what started World War I.
Yes, and then you look and back to what we were talking about the Bushes and why I hated the Bushes so much. Like Prescott Bush, he funded the Nazis. Like he funded both sides of the war, the Americans and the Nazis.
Man, how long ago? This was so long ago in our podcast history. We were talking about Hugo Boss. Hugo Boss.
Hugo Boss is the Nazi
designer.
And one of our buddies loves Hugo Boss shit. He loves the stuff. So we were googling it. Hugo Boss made the SS uniform.
Ford made their trucks.
Henry Ford
made
Not gonna
their
lie,
trucks.
those uniforms are pretty fucking.
They're fly. I'm not gonna lie.
Badass, dude.
There is no better uniform than the Waffen SS.
I agree.
I've worn Class A military infantry uniform, and That was pretty tight.
I mean, it's still in culture today. Like how many like movies are made that have to do with
But his name
People don't realize that a lot of the technology, and a lot of the things that we have today.
Nazis, all Nazis.
Yes, everything.
Yes.
Like people don't realize how much
CDC,
Nazi
all Nazis.
scientists have influenced our culture and
Klaus
influenced what we're doing today and the technology that we have.
Just saying.
NASA, like you said, Wernher von Braun is a Nazi scientist. Operation Paperclip is another one of those historical references that I go back to. I'm like, listen, like
It's in the Avengers.
they,
for you
they- yeah,
dorks
yeah,
over
they made
there.
a show without. They made a show with
Nerds.
Al Pacino.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's all
The
about
Hunters.
Hunters,
Yeah, it's all about
I
Operation
finished it.
Paperclip, and it's completely Hollywoodized and completely garbage.
But
to
no,
make
but
it-
they did have Mossad that went around and
listen,
hunted the Nazis and everything else.
Adolf Hitler wasn't that bad. He had the trains running on time.
God damn it!
All right, Kanye.
God damn it!
That's it. Now we're dancing.
That's it.
We did good so far.
That's the end of the episode.
We made it an hour and 25 minutes before we get banned on YouTube.
Yeah.
Well, if this is going on
Get
YouTube,
banned on
just
everything.
because I'm said in the
Oh, on-
beginning of
on
the
you-
episode, I'm James from We the
This
People
isn't
Radio.
going on YouTube.
Yeah,
Right.
as soon
Not
as
a
they hear,
chance.
James from We the People Radio, banned, your channel is gone, fuck
Banned.
you guys.
Close your
Literally.
bank account.
Yeah.
Your Venmo's gone.
Nah.
Oh, so here, let's switch gears because we could go down the conspiracies for all day. Steve said, close your bank account gone. How's everybody feel about what's going on with the financial system?
We're fucked.
We're going to get into a digital currency. That's what they're going to usher in.
Yes.
Digital currency.
So I agree, but again, it's a razor's edge. Because
Yes.
let me ask you this:
Another Trojan horse.
No, it's a razor's edge because it can go one of either way. It could go to the CDC, the CDDC, or whatever it is. The
Central bank digital currency.
Yes,
Yeah,
it could definitely go that way. But they just like for them to accomplish that, they need to destroy the the U.S. dollar. They need to destroy the Fed. Well, guess what
which
we
is
need
happening
to do
right now.
to accomplish.
We need the Fed destroyed.
But
Sure.
we need to accomplish our goals of restoring our republic. We need the same exact fucking thing to happen.
So I think what's happened is we're reaching a point where like the cracks are showing because of the Fed, right? Going all the way back to Woodrow Wilson now.
Russia,
And
Brazil, everyone getting off the
ha-
U.S.
yes,
dollar.
right. Those things,
Saudi Arabia.
that's why
India.
that's also why we're getting more antagonistic because once the cartel
That's
pulls
reality,
apart,
though. That's
the only thing
reality.
you have left is
Yeah.
like your gun to like
Yeah.
force people to do what you want. But
Yeah.
the cracks are showing,
Warlords.
and what's happening is, yes, like
Nostrovia.
it's because of bad policy that this is happening, but. Don't forget, like when a catastrophe happens, when something happens, the government
DARPA.
always looks to capitalize on it. So I don't want people to look back and be like, "Oh, well, now we need the Fed because like the Fed is preventing this from happening." They've had terrible policy for fucking 100 years.
They
The
create
cracks
all
are
the
starting
fucking
to show.
problems.
They're gonna look back and be like,
Every problem.
They're gonna look back. They're gonna look back and be like, "Okay, well now in order to fix this, we need a central bank digital currency." And then it's over.
No,
I'm
that's
sorry.
that-
I hate to be black.
no.
But
I
once
agree,
we're there,
but-
I don't know how else
But
we get past that.
so wait,
besides-
I got one
agree, but then
question
how
for
do you
this.
destroy the Fed and stop? What's the process that we can take? The people that want to stop the Fed from growing, like
Don't-
how
that's
how
what I
do
was
we
gonna say.
accomplish
Gold,
that?
silver trade.
Like no, but how do we accomplish that? How do we usher that? How do we usher
Barter.
that? How do we usher that in
back
without
locally
no,
by
no,
gold
no,
and
no,
silver.
no, without utter chaos
Civil war.
and civil war. No, seriously, this is a serious
huge-
question.
There's
That's where
a
we're going.
huge- There's a huge like chance that could happen. We need to make sure everyone knows that a central bank digital currency is bad.
Yes,
Terrible,
which
right?
is
Terrible
happening.
idea.
People are
it
agreeing
happens-
that. Like
right,
most people
before
are
it
agreeing
happens,
in that.
Yeah. Number two,
But I think
like
Garrett has the answer. Gold and silver.
yes,
Yes,
those
but
are
how do we get to
And
there? Like we
bullets.
have to destroy the Fed. We can't just go in there and
But
be like,
wait,
"Hey,
hold on.
shut
How do you
down the
wait,
Fed."
destroy
wait,
the
wait.
Fed?
Oh yeah, you
don't
can.
use
You
their
can.
money.
So
and
that's
you trade in
so.
gold.
Wait,
so
wait, 1 second, 1 second.
Sure.
Okay, so tomorrow the Fed collapses.
we're
right?
figuring it all out here today,
Right.
boys.
No,
Economists over here.
This is my question. This is my question. The Fed collapses.
Real quick, I know the Fed collapses, but
Keep going.
someone
Keep
put
going.
Allen in the corner, and we haven't heard from him in like fucking
Yeah,
2
you want
hours.
to take
The
one
only
of the
time we let him talk, he's like, trades are on time.
I'm taking it all in.
Yeah, seriously. He's like,
taking it
yeah,
all
Hitler was. He's like Kanye West all of a sudden. Hitler
He
was
was
great.
so
He
much
was a
better
good guy.
than Pete Buttigieg, you wouldn't even know.
You know, my great grandfather died a war hero.
Okay.
He fell out of the guard tower at Auschwitz.
He was a sniper.
Okay.
I am not connected. My last name's Goldsberry.
Because he was
okay?
trying to take one of the guards out, and the guard slipped him when he went through the window.
My last name is Jacoby.
Yeah.
Chris, I felt like you had a...
You fuck.
I felt like the brain cells were all firing.
And I still have to...
Go ahead.
Okay, so the Fed collapses. How do we, as a nation... Because now you have a path of two ways. Digital currency or like Bitcoin or gold and silver. When that catastrophic event that's going to happen happens... How do we push it to gold? Or like, do we just buy gold now and bank on it? Like,
so real quick,
but this is the thing, and realize, like, okay, so this is my perspective. Like I said, from being in my community, being an entrepreneur,
Being a faggot.
yeah, definitely.
Garrett the faggot.
Yes,
That rhymes.
It like close, very nice.
Edit that one out of there.
Rolls off the
No,
tongue.
but what
it's one of his tattoos. It's just
Yeah, it does.
Garrett the
all right,
faggot.
make your point. Let him make his point.
But
Stop that, bro.
As you can see, we're going off the rails.
yes, always.
We've
But-
reached the halfway point. We're
but
drunk and stoned.
there comes to a point
I'm rolling
where
another blunt after I smoke the cigar.
I'll partake in the
Hope
next
you're ready.
No need.
Hope you're ready.
it comes to a point though
Perfect.
where it doesn't matter because if
Wait till
you're
the
going,
scars are
if
done,
you're
though. I'm
going
smoking
digital
this.
bank currency,
I'm enjoying this.
Yeah,
you're
me
having
too.
I
fake
really love
fucking money in there, right? What do you need? If me and you
Whoa,
were
you
neighbors,
said you're throwing fake money in there? The money already is
no,
fake
no,
right
the
now,
money.
but-
Yeah, we
I'm just
understand
making sure
that.
you're not...
No,
okay, yeah.
we understand that. So this is what I'm getting at: is that, like, gold's something you can physically hold. Silver's just something you can physically hold. Land is something you can physically hold. Those are the commodities: ammos, guns, things that you need. So it's going to come to a point where you're the butcher. I need to feed my family. You need to know how to protect yourself. You come to me, and
Kinda-
that comes back to that basic barter system.
You're gonna
and
like
being
this.
able to help each
Sure,
other.
so people...
Yeah, it's kind of like, hold on, it's kind of like when Ricky from Trailer Park Boys made hash money, the hash coins. And
Yes.
he's like, he went on the bus, he's like, here's a $5.
Yeah.
And he's just paying everybody in weed.
You're
'cause
right.
They only come to him to buy weed. So,
It makes sense.
Yeah.
You're right, and I'm all for all those things. I'm all for people buying gold or people trying to get into Bitcoin
Right,
and
need
things
eggs,
like
you
that.
got
But
chickens,
right,
great.
exactly.
Well,
At the
Bitcoin, I think,
end
is
of
a
the day,
Trojan horse as well.
It could be. At the end of the day, like when this was like when I saw this coming, I made a video of me cutting wood back here, right? Like, what's something you do? People were literally asking me like, what's something you could do? Our friends asked us.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you could buy bullets. You could chop some wood. You could get like some physical items, things that you need to survive.
commodities.
Because in the digital world, your bank account, all these things could just disappear overnight. But like, I don't know, I can still survive. I can still heat the house with some wood. I have one of those things in the basement.
You
that's
got
like
chickens.
The MREs, you know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah,
have a
me
thing of
too.
MREs.
Yeah.
That gives me 60-something days worth of
Yeah,
food. So
me
now the
too.
way I think is like, okay, like if everything goes to shit and all my money
good for 2
disappears,
months to
I got
figure it the fuck
60-something
out.
days. I get my ass up in that tree stand right there, and every day
Start
I'm
killing
trying to
meat.
get it. I'm not going to be successful, right? But every day I'm looking for a deer.
No, but that's
but
not-
Get a deer?
You don't need
That's
to
another
kill a
week or
deer a
two.
day.
Yeah.
No, you get
It's not that easy. It's not that
it's
easy.
not
No,
easy.
no.
But you're missing the main
My
point.
family fucking hunt their whole lives. I fucking. It's
not that easy.
No, it's
You're
not
missing-
easy.
hold on,
I
wait.
said you don't have to kill a deer a day.
Okay. I thought you said you
have
can
to-
kill a deer.
That deer, that deer will last you a while.
No,
It
no,
will.
no.
But
that's
not
what
when
I'm
that's the only
saying.
thing you have to eat.
100%. But this is the thing: is like you go hunt. If you do have a successful kill,
You guys
get
are
100
missing-
pounds of meat. You're good for a little bit, but you're still going to have the times of the seasons and everything else where you can subsidize with your crops and everything
got
else.
I told you
chicken.
guys
Well,
I'm trying to
listen-
expand the
Well,
garden.
listen,
That's cool.
what
Me,
it
if not, I got guns. I take it from you.
that's
Sorry.
exactly my
That's
point.
my fucking
That's
point.
exactly my
I don't
point
need
here.
to pack as much. I'm going to move and shoot.
At the beginning of this, look, watch. It's on Disney Plus. Funny
Wow.
enough, it's
What,
called
Walking Dead?
No, it's called
Fed.
American Blackout, and it's about the American electric system going down, and it's several different
We
viewpoints.
need to have Stevie in here. He,
Yeah,
he
but-
maintains that shit.
But regardless of it, after like day 4 and 5,
Yeah.
people are kicking in each other's doors.
Yes,
Right?
Yeah.
yes.
So whether he has
Look at
60
Sandy.
days, yeah, whether he has 60 days, you have 2 months of food for your whole family.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. I got a 45 that says that can of fucking vegetables comes home with me.
Sweet.
That's
You
it.
gotta
Yes,
get past
that's
that
it.
sniper
Yes.
rifle to
But-
get
but-
into
but-
the house.
But that's Steve's house because that's Steve and Skaggs' house because they're ready.
Yeah.
90% is not.
My neighbors, their food is mine. That's it.
That's what I said all
That's
the time.
it.
I can scavenge.
Well, that
I have a close friend 3 blocks that way and a close friend that way and enough guns to arm all 3 of us. that food's coming home with us.
if
End
it
of story.
Comes back to war.
If we would have a complete meltdown like that and an economic shutdown, it's going to mirror the prison mentality.
Yes.
The strong will survive.
Alan's gonna be blowing all the guys to get his way.
I will extort
He's
the
perfect
weak.
height.
Giant cum dumpster.
Perfect
Yeah, Alan's gonna be like, I need food.
Doesn't matter, he's
I
surviving.
need
High
some food.
protein
Go,
diet. High protein
So-
diet. He's good.
Go ahead.
The strong will extort the weak.
Yeah.
That's what would happen.
Strong eat first.
Nature.
But also,
Women will be women again. They won't be.
yeah,
Finally.
you guys.
Their role in society.
Yup.
once again.
You guys can go kill all the deer you want. I'm just gonna revert back to COVID and
Hoard toilet paper?
No, just hoard toilet paper, and the only things open is fast food places and liquor stores. So I mean, that's just
But
gross.
liquor is going to be a commodity. Liquor's going to be a strong commodity.
And I'm going to take advantage of those people that think liquor's a huge commodity in that situation
It's not.
because they're going to be drunk. They're going to
Yeah.
be drinking, and I need to drink to pass the time, and you're fucking passed out wasted.
No, listen to me.
and I'm robbing you
Okay,
blind.
we got 3 bottles back there. We're going to trade you those 3 bottles for, I don't know.
You come to
some
me
medicine.
with 3 bottles,
No, no,
I'm
hold on,
coming
hold on.
with a 45, and I'm saying, give me
listen
those
to me.
fucking bottles.
Listen to me. They take those bottles, take that rifle right off that wall, and we go back there. We want the bottles back. We want whatever else you get.
But that's if you get that far. Like there's so many
Now,
variables in a situation.
The way I look at liquor in that scenario is that it's actually a liability.
Yep.
I would go stone cold sober.
Same.
Because there's no time to be drunk. I'd look at a bottle of liquor as actually a weapon. I could turn that into a Molotov cocktail. It's more valuable to have. There's 10 bottles right there, right? Like each one of those could turn into a cocktail. It's a weapon.
Yep.
It's
Water
me drinking them. Yeah, it's gonna be a good time or whatever. But then for fucking like half a day, we're vulnerable because we're blackout drunk, we're hungover, etc.
That's what I'm
Somebody
saying.
could roll up
trade
here.
it. You trade it
Okay,
out.
all right, maybe.
If you can get to that scenario, yes.
If you
But
can
like
get
again, it becomes the Wild West is the biggest swinging dick. Like
We're all pirates.
You watch these shows like Walking Dead or Last of Us, and you see how many times these people walk up and they think that they're friendly and they're making a good deal, and all of a sudden they're getting robbed or getting killed.
You deal with me,
that
you
would
get robbed
That's
and
exactly
killed.
what would happen.
And 100%, that's exactly what would
100%
happen.
what would happen.
So when you're making like to sit here and be like, okay, I have liquor, let's come and trade. Like I wouldn't want to like unless I know you very personally.
Yeah.
Like I know that you're not gonna fuck me over, and we're gonna work together like as a team to stop all of this. Like unless I'm 100% sure of that, I'm not fucking with anybody. If I invite you over, I'm robbing you blind. I'm gonna rob you before you rob me. Like if I don't know you, like, oh, you got some cool shit, let's get together and let's trade and barter.
Wait until we tell you the plan after we're not recording.
But
it's pretty funny.
Even before
I'm going to Dick Punch's house. By the way,
even before we'd get to any type of trading and bartering
All
system,
hell would break
okay,
loose.
80% of the population would be
Yes.
yes.
Okay?
And I'll explain why in a second.
And it would only be those that the survivalists,
They work for the power company.
the strong that could survive through that. Then it would be bartering, and the rest of the population probably killing each other off.
But at that point, you're already Mad Max. So I went from college to the military to big tech to ironwork. Now I work for
To the CIA.
Now, kind of, yeah. Now I work for an energy company. So
I'm around too many
there's-
CIA
there's-
handlers. I need to leave.
Sorry. So there's generation, there's transmission, and there's distribution. Once the shit hits the fan, and everyone has to go home and protect themselves, generation is done. At that point,
What do you
transmission
mean,
done.
like electricity?
Yes. Okay. So once the power goes out, which is the most fragile infrastructure this country has, and I work on it every single day,
Makes it even
Like,
more fragile.
Yes.
exactly.
Yes.
And
We're really
you're right. You're right. You're having me work on it, which
We're
is crazy.
We're fucked.
But
Already.
when a storm comes, I'm out there for 5 days straight trying to get the power back on for everyone else, and then I
With a shovel.
yeah.
Job fuck with you.
Who hired Steve to do this job?
someone that knows.
State of Rhode Island.
Yeah, the state of, we need to
Well,
evaluate the state.
He's
of-
always self-validating his point, right?
No, I'm just trying to say I've seen the infrastructure throughout this country or in our region, which powers pretty much the entire
other
East Coast.
countries.
Because it comes down direct current from Canada, which means direct current means it comes from generation.
DC.
It's not alternating. Alternating can go either way, and that comes from substations. So you have direct from a power plant, which goes into a substation, which puts it in the transmission and the distribution. Transmission goes into other substations, and they dumb down the power because it comes from a power plant at 1,000,005 or above, and then it goes to a substation where it's at 750, and it dumbs it down again to 349, and dumbs it down again to 115, and dumbs it again to 64 kV to 23 kV to 13.5 kV or 13.8 kV to 79.80 kV.
That CCP talk.
But let me.
No,
point.
but it all dumbs down. So at the generating point, when it comes down to a civil war where the society breaks down, all that power, it's over. It ends there. So
the
hospitals
power
down
plant.
until the fuel and generators go out, which everyone in the hospitals die, and then once the power goes out, distribution-wise, everyone's house's power goes down, and then you're at cooling insulin, and diabetics die instantly. If you're on a ventilator, you're dead. If you have a breathing apparatus for at nighttime, because if you have
Sleep apnea,
you're done. I have it too.
Me too.
A lot of people are going to die.
Well, no,
Instantly, because once the power goes out, you're gonna go from hitting the slot machine to fucking Mad Max in 2 days.
less.
No,
hours. Within hours.
And
Within
you
2
know
hours.
it's not going to come back. If you know it's not going to come back up, like it's not coming back up because we have to restore it, and I'm not going to do that. I'm not leaving my house.
No, because you gotta
It's
take
over.
care of yours.
So let me ask you guys
It's
this
over.
though, because I agree the electric system is very fragile, but so are a lot
The
of
most fragile.
But so are a lot of other systems, and there's a lot of other variables outside.
But that's the most important.
How about even real quick? How about even you won't be able to communicate with anybody.
No, exactly.
We won't be able to text each other.
So like me and you, like you live an hour away.
Done.
My family, the rest of my family still lives in the Bronx. They're an hour away. Like I'll never hear from them again, probably,
Yeah.
unless they just like
probably
unless
better
they
off.
have the instinct
Ham
to, like,
radio.
At a rally point.
Unless
Solar
you have a
generators.
plan,
72 hours to get here, boys.
unless you have a plan and you have the instinct to like, this is time for me to enact the plan. Because most people be like, it'll be all right. Some people, right? So unless you do that, you may literally never hear from people again, and
Never see your parents again.
Nope.
Yeah.
No,
I
no,
think
no,
we
no,
take
no.
for granted how far distance is now with like a phone. I can send a text.
And think if you had to
we
do it
all
with
got
a
we all
horse.
got here by magic communication, right?
Yes.
Like through,
Yes.
through text,
It would
right?
be gone.
That's
And
what binds us
imagine if you
together.
had to do it with a horse.
Instantly.
It's like
Well,
Kevin
but-
Costner
but
in
let
the
me- let me-
Postman.
Let me ask you this, because there's so many things that are collapsing in our society, and
We gotta spark up here now.
I think
like
it's
we're in the Armageddon mode.
there's
the Armageddon stage of the podcast.
I gotta ask, are you guys vaccinated? Because I'm not smoking with you if you're vaccinated.
Yes, I am.
You asked.
April Fools,
we all-
motherfucker.
April Fool's
Actually,
Day. We did a Fool's
no, but-
Day.
but-
we
So
actually
this
got
is
you guys all here.
April
we got
Fools.
you all here so we could vaccinate you all.
So real quick, because our electric
CDC director
system
wants it.
our electric system
I
is
just
very
didn't
fragile.
walk around the perimeter to make sure the FBI wasn't here. I'm just letting
job.
you guys
He did
know.
a full scan.
I did. I'm
So-
running
so-
security.
The electric system is definitely very fragile, but so are a lot of other systems. And
Food.
and
Transportation.
That's my question. Is do you think that the electric system will fail before the transportation system, or the transportation system will fail before the electric
Doesn't
system?
matter.
It doesn't matter.
No.
Either one will
either
cause
one we're
mass
fucked.
chaos.
No, either one we're fucked. And that's
The
what I'm curious.
electric
You mean like the
Fuel?
public transportation?
Already
No,
know.
No,
like
just like
fuel and
Like
and
gas,
food
like
and
we
food
can't
like
move.
Natural gas lines.
import export like
Infrastructure.
It doesn't
infrastructure,
matter.
yeah, like
So
like
hold on. So I got a little.
Everybody
something.
saw me, so,
on
yeah,
on
one
the
at a time,
import
sorry.
export and the fuel. I have buddies that work at the ports, right where we live. We're right by the ports. I have a bunch of buddies that are longshoremen, and they said, "Bro, shit hasn't been coming in or out for a
Yep,
long,
that's why I say
for
this.
a
That's why I asked
long
this.
And that's one of the
time."
biggest ports in the whole country.
Yes,
That's why
it
I
is
asked.
Probably one of the
Newark, L.A.,
Bayonne and Newark are right there.
and then the
LA.
one in,
Elizabeth.
Yeah, that's
Louisiana.
the same thing.
But no, it's something that
That was smooth.
is great.
It happened.
It twisted in his hand. I went to go grab it like this, and it twisted his
This is the. By the way, this is the best moment. Other than my kids being born, me getting married, coming home alive from a combat zone. This might be like top 5 moments of my life.
So, but that's a serious question, because it's very possible that the import-export industry collapses and we're not able to get food, we're not able to get gas, or the things that we literally rely on every day and we take for granted and don't even think about because they just come to us and we don't my AC works, my heat works, like I can get from point A to point B.
What you got to understand is the system that is put in place for all this, whether it's gas, whether it's food, whether it's power, whether it's water, it doesn't matter. it doesn't matter which one goes down first. The system, truthfully, is so delicate that all it needs is one to go down before you start murdering your neighbor.
Dominoes.
Well,
dominoes.
I they go hand in hand because if there's no electricity, there's no transportation because there's no communication. If the transportation goes down, there's no electricity because there's no oil or anything being transported.
Eventually, but like you could have your.
We talk about this all the time. The fact that if tomorrow is Sunday, if you went to go do your grocery shopping on Sunday and there was not a stitch of food on the grocery shelves, you would just show up. A majority of people would just show up Monday and be like, "Oh, the trucks didn't come in."
Right,
yet.
Those people are gonna die though very quickly.
They
are.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
There's a large majority of people. I've been watching Yellowstone, and
Great show.
yeah. And so, like, they do cattle and shit like that. It's a fantastic show.
Never watched
and actually, they have.
I watched one episode and I want to watch it.
They make a lot of great political points of like standing your ground. It's a very interesting
except
show.
for him, supporting what's her face, Cheney.
Yeah. And so anyway.
Yeah,
He did.
Yeah.
Well, the actor, I'm not surprised.
Of course.
Yeah.
But
It's a Hollywood
Go ahead, Cap. Finish.
But anyway,
Waterworld.
but all we need is just one to go down, and it fucks up. Because I've been talking to people who watch Yellowstone, and they don't realize that, like, there is a cattle rancher in the middle of fucking nowhere that is... You had a hamburger? We're going to eat hamburgers after this. There is some fucking rancher out there busting his balls 24/7 around the clock.
To tend to those cows.
To tend to those cows so we could eat our hamburgers. And then when that collapsed, the hamburgers ain't coming back.
It's not even just the hamburger. Like, he's just doing the base of what is required to feed us those hamburgers. Like, to get those hamburgers to our table, there's so many things that have to happen for it to actually reach our supermarket.
So there's been a couple times in the past couple of years where, and today might be one of those times, but like I've ate something like a hamburger or a steak, and I've been like, I'm gonna make sure I enjoy this because this could be like the last time you ever have a steak. When you think about it, like, or a hamburger, maybe even more specifically.
You're
not
wrong
right
though.
over there. But like a hamburger, right? Like what you're saying is like
Steve said earlier, I'm taking one hit. Now here we go.
here we go. Think of I think sometimes people take for granted like the stuff you have.
They do.
Like
that's why the system's
hamburger.
so fragile.
Real quick. Like you should enjoy a hamburger, and there's bad things about hamburgers. Of course, they're bad for you, but you should enjoy one because at any moment. The whole thing could collapse. You will never have a hamburger ever again. Let's say you survive. You survive the apocalypse, and you're living out on a farm, right? Well, okay, I'm like, I'll be out eating whatever you get. I'm just saying, like, I'll be. Real quick. Calm down. I'll be out here with my bow. I'll be shooting deer. I'll have some venison. I'll throw it over the fire. I'll cook it. I'll survive. But it's just meat. With not any salt or seasoning, not with the fucking,
paprika
a machine sauce. To grind it into ground meat with some spice and some seasoning
better than anyone
to make
in New
it
York
into
City.
a hamburger. Cows, they're gone. Where the fuck are cows? There's no cows anywhere besides a farm.
No, they're getting slaughtered.
Maybe we could go to the Jehovah's Witness place over there, overrun the place or some shit. But like
they barely got
some
guns.
of these things that are like like
do.
you could go. We could Uber Eats McDonald's right now, and a hamburger will show
Me
up.
and Garrett,
That's never happening again.
Me and Garrett were talking about that earlier. Me and Garrett were talking about that on the ride up because I eat like shit. I'm definitely working harder to work out and be healthier, but I still eat like shit. I gained 25 pounds since I got back from vacation in November.
It shows.
Oh, I'm fat as fuck. I know.
You like food.
I like food. I'm Italian. I love food. But it's not that I just love food. I also like convenience. Like I was telling me and Garrett were talking on the way up here. I'm like, I really like eating healthy and and like I'll cook ground beef and eggs all the time, and I'll put some nice seasoning on it. It'll be fucking delicious. A little
but
dollop
Chipotle's banging.
Chipotle's banging. Like I eat more of an animal-based diet, but I'll do that. But my issue is, I'm done with the show, and I'm like, I don't feel like cooking a fucking. I don't feel like putting it over the skillet, and I'll throw some taquitos in the oven for 15 minutes that are not healthy.
Chicken nuggets,
that are not healthy because of the convenience.
Strawberry ice cream and fucking taquitos.
It's not even hot pockets.
Pizza rolls and hot pockets.
Hot pockets. Yeah.
It doesn't get more CCP than that,
but
you will eat the bugs.
That is a very large majority of the population that will eat just processed food because not only is it convenience, they don't know how to cook, But even if they do know how to cook, again, it's the convenience of it. Like, oh, I worked all day,
Sure.
I don't want to
So,
fucking cook.
real quick.
That's out the
Yes,
window.
yes.
You are now eating
You're
whatever
weaker.
the
Do you
fuck.
know how-
You're weaker.
Real quick,
This is
real
how
quick.
much James talks. Both his cigar and his joint went
Yeah,
out
in one
at the
hand,
same
one hand
time.
each.
At the same
Real
time.
quick, let me make a point to you guys.
It just burns itself out.
Look
Let
at
me
this, like, fuck
let me
you,
tell you
you're
guys a
right.
story real quick. So now that I live up here, I hunt, I grow some stuff in the garden here.
You blow guys.
I do all the time. And like 2 years ago, my wife and we ate an entire meal that we created from scratch. So
How
like,
awesome is that?
So
Fuck yeah.
it
Fuck
was
yeah.
venison with all vegetables and shit that we
From the
grew from the
garden,
garden.
right?
And for a moment, I sat and thought about it. I'm like, this is the first time in my life
I couldn't
ever
do that.
eaten where I created everything in the meal.
That's fucking.
You know,
that's awesome.
Yes, it's a cool thing. What
I
I'm
can
saying
say
is,
I've never done
where
that.
we-
I've
me
never
neither.
done
Farm
that.
to table.
How many
yeah.
people
From,
have?
but not only farm from table, but
Your
like
own
you.
farm to your
But
own
he
table.
Yeah.
was he was
How
he was pulling bow like
How many
Rambo
people
didn't
can actually do that?
So serious question because I think about this all the time. Like, this is a
Feel
serious.
way better after it.
This is a serious thought that I have. Like, I could definitely. I've never been hunting. I shoot all the time. I could definitely shoot a deer. I have the guts to do something like
loads in
that.
a sock all the
Especially,
time.
yeah, all the time. But especially if it's to put food on my table, I have no problem taking out a deer to eat it.
That's something people
but-
misunderestimate,
no,
like the
yeah.
guts to shoot and kill a big animal. like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Where my issue
aftermath,
is not
gutting
shoot-
that thing?
Gutting it.
That is my
All right,
issue.
you want to hear a funny
That's my
story?
question. Hold on, that's my question to him. When you did farm to table, did you dress the deer yourself?
I
did, from
So that's impressive,
So
and that's something that I worry about because I really
Don't
think
know how
about
to
it.
do that yet.
It's
I
not
couldn't
even
do it.
It's not even that I
That's the
don't.
only reason I don't hunt. I don't want gut
No,
nothing.
no, it's not even that I don't know how to do it.
just
Because
get- I
even
haven't
if
had
I
to do
knew
it.
how to do it, even if I knew how to do it, I don't know if I could. Like, I can't eat liver. Like, as I was telling him, as much as I know how nutrient dense liver is, like the alpha of the wolf pack, when they kill,
I
they
can
eat
eat
the
it,
liver. The whale, the killer whales, they
It's
eat
gonna benefit
the
me.
shark liver.
You
I
could
can't-
do it. You could do
no,
it.
No,
If
no,
you-
like
well,
life
you
and
eat
death, I
penis.
could do it. Life and death, I could do it. I could
But
eat
while
it.
Uber Eats is around,
we're
you're
talking,
not.
we're talking a liver that's already been cleaned and sitting packaged in a fucking thing that I can't eat. Now we're talking a liver that I just ripped out of a deer that's still warm. And I'm
I'll
sitting
be
there
honest
like,
with you.
I don't know if I could
being,
do that.
Being someone who has done it, it's even better than getting it from a supermarket. The fucking thing was alive. I saw it. I killed it.
Gave it to
I
life.
did it. I did
Gave
the
its
whole
life for
thing. I
you.
know exactly where it
Like
came
my-
from. Nobody put any fucking...
I don't know
like,
how to do
Alan's
that.
It wasn't in plastic.
So,
Al-
hold on, you want to hear a funny
I
story?
can't do that.
Real
You want to hear a
quick.
funny story?
Real quick.
When he
Yeah.
first started hunting, I didn't start hunting until about like a year or two after him. And so we're going out on one of our first hunting trips. He shows me this fucking tool he has. And it's a butt plug.
Yes.
With fucking
Yes.
razors coming out of it.
Yes.
And he's like, if you get a deer, he's
For
like,
the anus.
he's like, because so the way you dress an animal is you make your slits around its pelvis, and then you cut out its asshole. You go all the way up. You cut its throat inside,
Yeah,
and you
and
pull
you
it
pull
all
out
out.
the intestines.
Right. So he's like, you just shove this in here, and he's like, you rip out his asshole. I was like, I don't know if I'm fucking ready to go.
So I
don't
never-
think I can fucking do it.
So it's funny because I bust
Ball
Alan's
still
balls
warm.
all the time on our show because he's a sick fuck. Like, he does some fucking sick fuck things. He talks about it on the show all the time, especially when he was in the medical business, in the medical field. But my girlfriend's the same way. Like, she does all this sick fuck shit, and I'm embarrassed because not only do I not know if I could do it, but like if she, like, I'll kill the animals, but I'd have to send her to dread. Like, you're gutting
She's
it, like,
over there.
So,
yeah, she's like,
honestly-
oh, let's do it. I'm ready to go.
Honestly, that's one of the
Do
reasons
you make your
why...
wife dress the deer?
Yeah, I didn't fucking help her.
Dr.
I mean, I helped her move the deer, but I'm not
Are
helping
you serious? Your wife can dress a deer?
She did, yeah.
God damn! I can't. What the?
That's what
God damn.
I've
My
known his
first
wife
deer
for-
is right there.
I've known his wife for
I'm in the
many
process-
years.
So,
If there's a woman that's going to throw hands on your benefit,
I'm in the process of
I'd
doing
have
that
her
with
behind me
firearms
any
with my
day.
girl. Like, she's learning
Throwing
firearms.
hands?
Yeah. Who
So
wants this? Yeah.
I'll take that, absolutely.
Good for you.
She's like that with firearms. Like, I like when we go shooting, we get home. I'm like, you have to clean the gun. Like, it's your job. Like, this is your job. Like,
That's
I'll,
how I
Try
am,
put,
yeah.
I'll
here,
tell you
go
what to
cry
do.
putting this
So-
45 back
Yeah,
together.
no,
God, the
you're-
hardest
you're-
thing
You're
ever.
cleaning this
That's
because
great.
if shit hits the fan, like,
Yeah.
like you need to know how to do this. Like, God forbid, like something happens where we get in a gun battle and I get taken out and you're by yourself.
Yes.
Like, and I'm not there to do this for you. Like, what are you gonna do?
Dude,
I
my
made it
wife,
simple for my girl. I was
Good
like,
point.
I was like, they kick that door in, just bury yourself in this corner with the 350, and when that door opens, unload.
Yes, but after that, what do you do?
Well, I mean, that's her last-ditch effort.
But even if she wins that, like, say she wins that battle.
Oh, yeah, what do you do from there?
Like, how does she survive?
Yeah.
She's dead. She's fucking dead. She
Yeah.
might as well die right there because she's only gonna last so long. Because she can't load a gun. She can't clean it, keep it operating. Like, there's only so much that she can do if shit hits the fan, and she has to be able to know how to at least do something so she can keep herself alive for a little bit longer. God forbid you're not there to protect
You
her.
have a good story here. I can
That's
feel it.
not a good story. My 10-year-old can break down, completely strip, and put back together an AR-15.
Blindfolded.
Alan, I tell you all the time, you're raising your daughter right.
Pop a mag in, charge around, bring it to her shoulder, and do a double tap. Very, very quickly. Faster than some of my male friends who shoot.
I'll be faster than me.
She could probably do it faster than me. 100%. 100%. The way
She trashed me. Yeah.
She is fucking crazy.
Because there's no bad tendencies.
we used to-
if you start them young,
good, I'll keep that.
You don't let them grow the
I'll let you
tendencies of bad weapon range.
I haven't done it in a while, but when COVID was going on and she wasn't allowed in school, it was all fucking remote.
me and you are trying to figure out this transfer
Yeah,
process.
we can't. It's weird. It's
we can't figure the fuck out.
Keep going,
Open
Al.
your
Keep
hands.
going.
Sorry.
Keep going. Disregard these fucking buffoons.
Retards.
You guys can't even pass a blunt back and forth.
Nah.
So,
We're 2.5 hours in? 2 hours in?
No, we're almost 2 hours.
so
Yeah.
Jeez.
We got an hour left, boys.
Or we could wrap it up soon. We'll see.
So-
We're
I'm
2
having
hours
fun.
in.
We can
Yeah,
keep
I
going.
know.
I'm having a blast.
Dude, you're in person. I'm
Let
sorry,
Alan tell his story.
what you
God
could,
damn it.
What you could do is shut the fuck up.
Yeah. This is where I need the button, Alan. Shut the fuck up.
I could mute everybody but Alan. Technically.
So literally, during COVID, we would mess around and all right, I put the gun in her hand. She was 8 at the time, 8 years old. Threw the AR-15 in her lap, and I was like, "You know what that is?" She's like, "It's a gun." Yeah. So taught her all the basics of the gun, how it operates, how it breaks apart. Not that she's gonna have to strip the thing, but I wanted to show her. And we shot it a few times. And now that she's 10, when she was 9, what we were doing was, all right, I'm going to show you what it's like to hold the gun. We're in the house. The gun's unloaded, safe. I'm a big proponent of, if you own firearms and you have children, to take that curiosity out, you better dump that gun in your kid's lap unloaded and show them what it is, that it's a tool, it's not a toy, and it takes the curiosity out. Because I have loaded guns all over my house, okay? I don't care who knows that. So come to my house, you'll find out. You're either going to get me and my gun, or you're
Fuck around and find out.
or you're going to get my 105.
You're at a
German
house
Shepherd.
that does the same
Right.
exact thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
Welcome.
So literally, I went and I whatever. So I said, listen, let's just say, and we were almost making it a game where now she laughs about it, but she knows, she knows where they are. And the way I have them is a certain way where she knows that she can grab that rifle and rack around, and she's ready to go. I mean, she throws the strap on. I mean, she's like a little fucking Rambo. It's
You
great.
drill her like you do drills, like someone broke in the house and.
So we were doing that. This was the game we were playing.
Okay.
The
That's
game.
called fire alarm.
Real quick,
That's,
you know
no,
what?
I'm gonna do that. I'm
Fire
You know
I'm
what-
gonna do
you
that
know
with
what
my
will-
girlfriend. I'm gonna literally do
You
that
know
with my
what will
girlfriend.
never happen to Alan's daughter? She'll never have a gun accident. Ever.
No.
Never.
No.
She's already
No.
so serious
No.
with I know what this thing is. I know what it's capable of. I know not to be like, hey, look, my friends are
Nope.
here. Let me shoot this thing or something.
Nope,
Yeah.
never. So she knows, treat every gun like it's loaded.
Exactly.
She knows how to hold it. She impresses me. And so we would start somewhere in the house. Be like, all right, you hear that noise? Your bedroom. Someone's coming through the window. What are you gonna do? So the gun is there. It's unloaded. She gets it. She knows there's an empty magazine in it, but she knows, she grabs that gun. She throws the strap over her. She racks around, no round in it, and she's got it up. And I swear, it's like watching a mini SWAT team. She's clearing the fucking room. She's walking down the hallway like this with the AR.
Finger discipline.
You want to talk about trigger discipline? The little index finger, right?
9 years old.
ready to go. 9 years
Dude,
old.
I taught my kids trigger discipline.
She's throwing
with their Nerf
flashbangs
guns.
in
With their
everyone's
Nerf
room.
guns.
Yeah.
They walk around with their Nerf guns like this.
I literally I threw the whole gun. You got to deal with the weight. So whatever, and she did it. She went in her room there's she grabbed it. She charged the round, ready to go. And all right, someone's in the window. Someone's there. What are you gonna do? The gun is on safe. Safety off. She's going down the hallway. Click, click.
Yeah.
And
that's hard to remember
ready to
in
go.
the heat of the moment.
Yep. And I didn't even tell her.
Safety. Like,
So hold on.
It's happened to me in real life scenarios.
I didn't
with the safety on.
I didn't tell her. The double tap. She did it because we had done that previously. So then we did it again.
Yeah. That's all it takes.
We did it again, and what I did was on the TV I put on YouTube on with dogs barking to get my dog going crazy.
Jesus.
So my 105-pound German Shepherd,
He's smart.
Training facility in his house.
When
He's
he
smart.
barks, it is unbelievable. My neighbors 3 doors down can hear it. Stallone, my German Shepherd. He's going crazy. I'm screaming my daughter's name that I'm shot. I'm screaming.
Okay.
10 years old. I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. And I think I put the radio on something. And
another
it was really
distraction.
Loud. There was so much noise.
Yeah.
You might want to.
So much noise. And I said,
like on Sonos speakers, full blast in the house.
I'm literally, I'm laying on the kitchen floor screaming.
Might as well got a flashbang.
Strobe
lights.
Someone's coming through your bedroom window.
Fog machine.
This girl went. She runs. She grabs the gun. Does it? She runs down, and like I couldn't even believe it. I could
but
not.
You have
I
to train like that.
I couldn't believe it.
But
And
Alan,
I did not. Hold on.
Hold on, let Alan finish.
Ran in, poked her in the eye.
I thought about videotaping it. I thought about it, but what am I going to do with it? I'm not going to post it anywhere.
Yeah,
Forget about it. I'm not going to post it
screwed,
anywhere. I didn't, and maybe I should have just so we could see it, and I could just show, like, look what my fucking daughter does. It's crazy, and what was crazy was my dog is out of control. He's barking. He sees, and this is just unprovoked. He sees me laying on the kitchen floor. He doesn't know what's going on. He hears barking. He's going crazy. He's running around in circles. The music's playing loud, and I remember I had System of a Down on, blasting.
You had
blasting.
System of a Down.
It's my favorite band ever. I had System of a Down. Yeah. Yeah. So that's going, and it's loud.
We've done that here before.
It's fucking loud.
We're gonna do that right after the show.
No, I'm going home. I'm doing that with my girlfriend.
All of a sudden, and I'm screaming. All of a sudden, as I'm screaming, I'm looking at my dog, and I'm getting up at this point because I want to see what she does down the hallway. My fucking dog sees her grab the gun, and walking down the hallway, and runs down the hallway with her, and stays in front of her. He and I couldn't believe it.
Holy shit.
He knows.
He hip checked her against the wall with the gun.
He's protected her.
He went into the room looking at her like, what the fuck are we doing? What
That's-
are we doing?
man, that's-
What's going on? Who's here?
Who's got it?
Who's here? Who's here?
Stallone is a roll dog.
No,
He's
dude,
walked
real
in,
quick,
he's like,
let me,
"They're all
I
fucking
I just want
going."
to say, because I say this to Alan all the time. You're raising your daughter right, man, and I wish more families and more parents would take the initiative to do these kinds of things with
Definitely
their
not
children,
giving Gabe a gun.
and to
Start with the Nerf gun.
no, it's not.
Nerf gun.
It's not even. It's not even that, Gary. You should because again, the fact that you say that, you need to get him past that sooner than later. Like
He's got to hold. So
you need to get him to understand.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but like when I got my first gun, I was so in. Like I sat there and I was like, oh boy, like you know what I mean?
How old
You
were
guys
when
saw
you
my
had
Donnie
your
gun
first
yet?
Yeah, I saw you
I was
post some
maybe
pictures.
about
It's pretty dope.
19.
Okay, so you were 19. How old were you when you had your first gun?
I bought my AR. I technically didn't buy it because my girlfriend bought
No,
it
I'm
because I had
just
a
saying.
felony.
Lost in a boating accident.
Not anymore.
I had a felony. So I couldn't buy fire. I got a young
age
when I first bought it. I was,
when you first got it
When
in
you
your
had
possession,
your
you're
first
like,
gun. When was your first gun?
that I bought through my girlfriend. It was
holy shit.
Just in general,
Just
without-
give us an
outside
age.
the law.
How
Outside-
young were you?
28
You know
years
what?
old.
You know what?
Okay.
Don't worry.
How old were you when you handled and had your first firearm?
I think 24.
How old were you?
You were younger
When
than
I
that.
Was I?
owned my own.
I don't even
my
know. I
own
forget
name,
how old I am.
I was.
that's what I was trying to get to.
I started in the military because
I still don't.
I was living in Jersey. It was impossible to get gun. I didn't want to deal with it, but there were guns in my house. Like
No, but when was the first time you shot your firearm and it was your
Oh,
gun?
high school. Oh, not my firearm, but I
the
shot
first time I shot a firearm was probably like 7 or 8.
Okay.
But it wasn't my firearm.
I was older. I was probably around 18, 19 again.
You?
I think I was like 23. I really
How old
do.
were you?
When I first shot, I was like 16, 17.
How old were you?
8 years old on my first.
You guys
gun
are
at
younger than
18
even me.
legally.
No,
But my point with all
shot
this
your own gun or
is, you
own
said
your
you
own
wouldn't
gun.
give
That's what I
Gabe,
would see, but-
your son.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
but no, but
Right.
you're not letting me finish my point. So, you guys are all 8,
Yeah.
19, 23, you're fucking 42.
It was probably
got your first
22 when
gun.
I was that. It was
No,
probably
I
22.
got my first gun at 5. Okay? And I still have that gun. And that is
awesome.
the gun
That's
that
awesome.
I gave to my children as their first gun.
Good idea.
And I got my first gun at 5. It's a little chipmunk, single shot, boom. You put
22,
the little 22. You can put short
LR.
logs in it.
Ooh, nice.
It's got like a 3-step safety, so you gotta rack it. You gotta be able to pull it back. You gotta have strong enough fingers to pull it back. Everything else. I have 3 children, right? So, besides Steven, I have more children than everybody in this room, and I got my gun the
We're
youngest.
tied. We're
and
tied
I got
for
no,
3.
we're tied. That's what I'm saying. And I got my gun the youngest, and I've been shooting longer than you've been alive. Okay, so for me to go, yeah, I'm not gonna give my 4-year-old a gun.
Oh, I didn't know.
I think
okay.
that's a pretty safe thing.
Yeah.
Now,
No, I'm not.
now,
I'm not
hold
saying
on.
give it to him. I'm
Not
saying
done.
start training.
Not done.
Not done.
Has he held that gun? Yes.
That's
Have I
different.
showed him how to rack it? Yes.
Okay, that's
Do they
different.
do trigger control with their Nerf darts? Do we do range safety like I'm range safety officer? Everybody's firearms
so-
down.
yo,
and
you
we're
so-
shooting at targets.
So I'll tell you,
Yes.
Garrett. I'll tell you,
And
Garrett.
I'm the
You're
most pro too.
you're very blessed though because my father.
I didn't realize you were talking about your 4-year-old.
My father's
Yeah,
not.
no, that's
my
what I
father
said,
hates
don't
guns.
give
My
me
father
that.
can't.
You guys are
He can't stand them.
pussies.
My
Like, okay.
I didn't
grandfather.
realize that.
My grandfather, a World
That's
War
where we
II
went.
veteran. My grandfather, a World War II veteran. When I was a kid, we bought the house that my father grew up in. But when I was a kid, I'd go down to the basement and there was rifles hanging on the wall. Like my grandfather was big into guns, but he died when I was 3. So my father never was into it at all, and he didn't teach me. And he told me to, he almost made it
Same thing for
like
me.
it was
Same thing
scary
for me.
to be
Sure.
around guns. And
Funny enough.
I wish more than anything, because it took me it took a lot of training. Like I'll never forget the first time going to a range and shooting. Because the first time I went shooting, I was up in like West Milford, New Jersey, at a private range. Nobody's around. I'm the only one shooting outside.
Cherry Hill,
You
West
motherfucker.
Milford. Huh?
Yeah, you go to a range indoors, and it's a totally different animal, especially the first time. Your adrenaline's through the roof, and you're
Yeah.
like, holy shit! Like I was not expecting this.
First time we shot machine guns.
You know, because I've shot before, and there's something that people don't understand. Like you watch the movies, you pick up a gun, they start firing like it's nothing.
There's
This is
a
what I
whole
love about.
explosion.
But this is what I love about what Alan was saying, because and this is what I tell my girlfriend all the time. I'm like, well, if someone breaks into the house, like you're not going to be like cool, calm, and collected. Your adrenaline is going to be through
Yes.
the roof. And I've seen so many people. I've seen being in the fight game, and Garrett can attest to this. You've seen so many people that are great in the practice room, and then they go into the cage, and their
Real
adrenaline
life.
is through the roof,
Seize.
and they
You just
freeze.
seize.
And this is what happens in real life situations when shit hits the fan, and all of a sudden your adrenaline's through the roof, and you've never had an adrenaline dump like that. You can't even think. You're frozen. You're like, and your mind does not work. And people don't realize that happens. And I love these couch warriors that like, oh, if shit hit, I'm gonna start slamming heads. I'm like, no, the fuck you're not. Like,
You
I got
guys, real
an
quick,
axe in the back room.
real quick, you guys
All
would.
I'm gonna say is that I've been in those scenarios before.
Yeah.
In
You
real,
have
in real life.
Yeah.
And your first couple, James, you're right. You're gonna freeze. It's gonna.
Yes.
It's a natural human thing to do.
Yes. If you've never,
But
especially
then-
if you've never been
but
in
then-
high adrenaline situations.
Yes, but then as you walk through it with the guys you're with that also experience the same thing at the same time, you developed a communication, almost like a nonverbal thing.
But how much training did you do before that? Most people
Not-
do no training.
Yes,
These people
correct.
have
I
no
did-
training.
Not enough to
And
prepare
this is
you
what
for
Alan's
was,
doing.
right?
But this
Well-
is what Alan's doing with his daughter, and this is
Fine.
brilliant.
But
Yeah,
but
he's
but
been in
the
combat.
training, when you're in training, you know, and you're hoping, unless there's a malfunction somewhere, that the rounds that are being heard or have muzzle blocks on them, and it's dead rounds. It's all, unless you're doing a live fire shoot house, then you're all live. But when you're doing squad movements, you're not doing live fire against an actual live
course
fire
not.
opponent. It's all off sound of how it would feel. When you feel or hear the rounds actually come by you,
It's different. Yes.
in training you hear, but until you feel.
Yeah.
Even if they're not obviously
Steve,
touching
Steve,
you, but
Steve,
you can feel
Steve,
their presence.
no,
nearby.
Whoa!
Steve.
It's like laser beams. Like you don't
Steve.
know.
Yeah.
I
It's a whole
100%
different
understand.
scenario.
This is why I use the analogy with
But-
fighters because just like that, like in training, it's not a fight situation. It's practice. Like there's a lot
Yes.
of slow training and timing and just getting the movement. So when you're not able to think, your muscle memory is just doing because you've already trained it.
It takes a lot of muscle memory to
Yes,
get to that point.
yes,
Like,
a thousand. No, because
real quick, who here has hunted before? I know you have. Obviously, you don't have to answer, but
I only
I
went
mean,
once.
you
like bird, like geese,
Garrett?
geese.
deer
for
hunting.
myself, no.
Like deer hunting.
never.
But hold on,
You-
I've went
all right.
with my grandfather,
Back in the
I've
day.
tracked deer.
Sure.
No,
Sure.
like that was
Yeah.
my job. I was the
You
bitch.
guys would
Tracking
You and your
absolutely,
grandfather.
you
Yeah,
guys
my
would
grandfather
absolutely love hunting because it's definitely similar to like fighting, like how you guys are doing. Like when you're hunting and you put like a lot of work into like preparing like your tree stand in the area,
Yes.
and then like you go up there, you're up there fucking before dawn, you're up in the tree, it's freezing, and you're like waiting. A day might go by, nothing. You might go like a week or two by. Then like, imagine now.
Your perfect opportunity.
You're there with
You're
your
like
bow,
this.
right? And here comes this perfect buck, like 10,
8 point,
15,
10
8
yeah, wow.
points. 10, 15 points, imagine.
Wow.
You're up in fucking Michigan. I'm saying you're up in Michigan or some shit like
Yeah.
that, right? And here comes this animal now, like, okay, like, what do you do? Like, you have to do this.
You have to make the decision to
Right,
take
like,
this
it's not
animal's
like,
life.
you know, let me Google real quick, like, what do I do?
That's
no,
how-
it's, you're like the most alive you're ever going to be, and you get an adrenaline dump. Like,
Yeah.
your heart's fucking
So-
racing.
No,
So
Right,
what
so
happened?
family hunt.
I still haven't gotten
I'm
my
gonna
first
take this
deer
thing
yet.
out.
I still haven't gotten my first deer, and I always question myself sitting in the dark up in a tree.
Am
Can
I
I
gonna
really
be able
do
to
this?
pull the
Can I
trigger?
really do this?
Yeah.
Can I really do this?
This is a real,
And
like,
then-
you know, they're a deer, but they're still a giant living
So
creature.
breathing-
Yeah.
like
And
like
it's
a
a
dog.
natural instinct.
It's like
It's
a dog.
natural instinct. Like,
Majestic
your body
creature.
goes
Yes.
through this
He
thing.
he goes hunting for coyote, and I'm like, there's no way I could pull the trigger
The
on a
first
dog.
kill.
Like a
Yeah,
dog.
Yeah, it's like a dog.
So-
My girlfriend wants a coyote.
So at least with the deer,
As
I
a
was
pet?
always like,
Yeah, she's crazy.
I was always like,
She
can I
sees it
do
in the
this?
street.
And it was one of the, I didn't get to go hunting last year. I was too busy, but it was like one of the last days out, and I'm sitting in the bush, and I'm freezing my ass off. I'm bored out of my mind, and I hear that twig crack, and a baby deer comes out. I go, okay, good. And then a big old female came out, and I have the doe tags, and I was like, this is a perfect shot. And I raised up, and she caught me moving in the bushes. But in that moment, I was like, I put in so much work. This
have to
deer's
do
going
it.
down.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
I was like,
You were determined.
I questioned myself all
You
the
were
way up to this
determined,
point.
yeah.
I did so much work.
That's
I
good.
had
That means you're
fun.
ready to go.
So
You're ready to go
let
next time you get a
let me
chance.
ask you guys this because a lot of people like I talk about this with police officers. A lot of people have never been in high
We'll wrap up soon.
High adrenaline.
high
right?
adrenaline situations.
So right, because you talked about adrenaline before. It's really quick, and because
Yeah,
I
totally.
know what you're gonna say. So, with just referring back to my daughter, the adrenaline thing. When it was done, when we did, and we did it a couple times. There was one instance where we did it where it was really intense, crazy. Dog was barking, the whole thing.
Tuesday night.
I immediately turned everything off. She comes into the living room. She takes the gun. She takes it off. And I didn't even tell her to do it. She does it on her own. Makes the
Clears
gun,
it.
makes the gun
Clears it.
safe and clears it.
Catches the round.
And then with her
throws it back
With her
in,
teeth.
right?
With her teeth.
With her teeth.
with her teeth. And then she goes, "Give me your hand and feel my heart." She takes my hand. She puts it on her chest. And I thought she was gonna die. And then I was like, "Wow!" And then she cried, like she cried.
Bawled her eyes out.
She
Yeah.
bawled her eyes
Dude,
out.
people
Some
don't.
people
And I
think that's
so-
fucked
so
up, but
listen,
that's good. That's
I felt horrible, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm sorry." And she goes, "No. She goes, 10 years old. She just turned 10 when it happened. She goes, "I'm crying because I'm so happy that I knew what to
Yep.
do." Like the adrenaline got her
Confidence,
so
too.
much.
Yes.
Yeah.
So-
Yes. Most people freeze.
Like, I'm sure you understand. Like, you got to bury that down until it's over.
So
It's repetition.
Yeah.
go,
So let me ask you guys this, everybody here. Like I know Garrett besides the point because me and Garrett have trained and fought people and those are very high adrenaline situations. It doesn't have to necessarily be a cage fight,
Yeah.
adrenaline rush, but like me personally, I seek those adrenaline rushes. Like, I love those high adrenaline situations where your adrenaline's pumping through the fucking roof. Like, that, there's no feeling like it. I can't explain it. Like, skydiving, like, all that kind of shit.
James really likes
I fucking love it. Like,
I've been in a few like barroom brawls.
Yes,
and like
yeah, but you don't have time to think like
no. But
different.
you still have the chance to run or dive in. And every time I have chosen
dive in.
Yes. But that's a different.
Or eat glass.
But that's what I want to cover.
That's a different situation.
going
In most of those cases, those barroom brawls, you're with your friends, and it's a lot easier to do those high adrenaline situations when your friends are doing the situation with you. It changes the way your mind thinks.
True.
When you're at one-on-one, like I've seen so many guys, I'm sure Garrett's seen way more than I have because he trained them, that are the best guys in the room. They beat everybody up. They get into the cage and they lose every time. They cannot perform because they can't handle the adrenaline rush. They can't handle what's going on. They know how to do it, but they can't handle what's going on. And if you're not seeking those high adrenaline situations, when like solo, like if you're not putting yourself where your adrenaline is skyrocketed and you're like, holy shit, like you feel alive. It's unreal.
I'm still not gonna fucking skydive. I'm not gonna skydive.
But Garrett, you don't have to because you put yourself in those one-on-ones high adrenaline situations. 99.999% of people have never been in one of those high adrenaline situations solo where they're making the decisions and they're forcing themselves to do things that they're very uncomfortable doing. They don't like their mind is literally telling them like this is a crazy idea and
it's a natural process.
Yes,
to go through.
yes, and your mind is so powerful. And if you haven't trained your brain to do that, you're fucked,
dude. I'm telling you, this is
side
Hey,
conversations.
simmer down the
side conversations.
Real quick, I'm telling you guys would all love hunting. From what you guys are telling me now, you'd love this shit. That's what hunting is. Like you go, especially
in between time.
It's a lot of in between time, but that's also what makes it that much more rewarding.
I hated training. I hate working out. I hate running. Like I love the rush of the actual fight. Like training was not fun.
Hunting even more so because there's so much downtime.
Got to weather it.
Maybe
you
once
just said
a
you hate
year.
the cold.
I'm just saying.
I hate the cold, but you know why I put myself through it? Because every time on the other side, fucking better. You know, I went camping.
Again, that's also
at
like
the beginning of March.
That's what we're talking about
camping
here.
At the beginning of March. It rained the whole
Cold
first
plunge.
night. I was in the fucking mud trying to get a car out, drunk off my ass, crawled right into my sleeping bag and slept like a fucking baby. Woke up the next day. Give me eggs and bacon. Let's go.
That night was I got a really good night's
Eggs
sleep
and
that
bacon.
night.
Let's go.
Let's fucking
That's
go.
all you need.
Propane tank going. Let's
Put
go.
my heart to an egg. Let's go.
Let's go, man.
Even camping could be valuable.
Go ahead, Alan.
No, I think everybody, somewhere in their life, will experience some sort of level of adrenaline rush, whether it's life or death. Like me, I should, if I have to count off the top of my head, I should be dead at least 3 times.
Yeah, I'm sure you've been in tons of those situations.
At least 3 times. And I was a paramedic in New York City. I've been stabbed. I've been shot at. Didn't get shot. Oh, there's static somewhere.
Me and Stevie got shot at in Providence.
Like. There's a lot of static. Literally, like, yeah, there's a lot of static somewhere.
Yeah.
Hey,
It's a phone.
my phone's off.
That's what it sounds like. It's all right.
It's
don't
your
worry.
phone. You're texting.
It might have been.
My phone in my pocket. Yeah, my phone.
That's how he do. He's like, it's a phone.
Transmitting.
It's a phone.
But like, everyone, it's human nature, the whole adrenaline thing. And obviously, everyone can say, oh, I would compose myself a certain way.
Nope.
In a crazy situation, which you don't know.
Nope.
Get punched in the mouth, your plan's out the window.
And even if you've experienced it, you still don't know
Yep.
that specific situation. And like I said, I've been into some hairy situations. Like, for instance, me and my partner, we were EMS in the city. We literally had to go to what we found out to be a crack house. We had to go, which it actually was the attic of the house. It was like 3 stories up for this cancer patient that was dying. We get up there, and all of a sudden we hear all this commotion down at the floor below. And I peek my head down, and there are 2 crackheads fighting. One, there's a broken glass. Somebody has a knife. All of a sudden, somebody's yelling he's got a gun, and there's a gunshot. And I'm like looking at my partner with this patient that's like pretty much getting ready to die, and I'm like, yeah, we might be a little trapped up here. Let's call for help. So like we're calling for police assistance, the whole thing, until the cavalry arrives. Then they think, because they hear our radios, they think there's cops in the house.
In there. Yep.
They think there's cops in the house. And I'm yelling to them. I said, we're paramedics. We're trying to get this patient out. And they know, I forget what the guy's name was. They're like, what are you doing with him up there? He's a cancer patient. We're trying to take him to the hospital. And, they are literally...
Shane showed up.
They're literally... dogs are good, though, in the background.
No.
They literally think we're
We
cops.
know when the feds are coming.
Yeah,
It's the FBI.
So they start throwing...
He gave the password.
Yes.
Alan called in the cavalry.
They start
Safe
throwing
word, Calvary.
they start throwing shit up the stairs. They start throwing broken bottles and they start coming up the stairs. Now, me and my partner are here. Well, we have expandable batons and mace. And I'm literally at the top of the stairs spraying mace down the stairs trying to get these people back. Adrenaline's going crazy. I'm like, we're probably gonna get killed by crackheads.
It's a zombie
We're in
invasion.
trouble.
Right.
Yeah.
This is a hot situation.
We're in trouble.
Coming in hot.
And all of a sudden, thank God, the NYPD showed up with an army because the EMS came over the radio and was like, yeah, we need
distress.
assistance. It's bad. And everybody showed up. And they pulled they ended up arresting like 12 people. And that was my first adrenaline rush. And then literally, I think it was like 3 months later, I get called. We get called to some woman.
9/11.
No, that's
Yeah.
That was a good joke. That was a good joke.
yeah. That was.
Should have leaned into that one.
That was still twitching.
That was an adrenaline rush.
Just to say the least.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's all my friends are dead.
Amongst
Two buildings fell on their head, and there's a song about
It's
that.
all amongst friends.
There's a song about it.
There's a song
9/11.
about it, yeah.
Let's build a ladder to heaven.
That was literally, we were singing that at a friend of mine who died on 9/11 at his funeral. Like, we were joking around, like, all my friends are dead, 2 buildings fell on their head. I don't remember the next two of it, the next verse. But anyway, so this woman calls 911 for abdominal pain. And I don't even know how we ended up with the call. We go... Cops aren't even around. It's so busy. It was a summer night. We go there. A woman having abdominal pains in the projects in Brooklyn. Get to the apartment. Apartment door is open. Straight run. There's this little small kitchen, and there's this woman standing there. White lady, actually, in a very, very black neighborhood. And I go, she's just standing there. I'm like, hey, ma'am, paramedics, blah, blah, are you okay? And she looks at me and goes, no, I'm not. I'm very sick. And I'm like, oh, what's going on?
How can I help you?
Can I be of some assistance?
Well, you're in luck.
I'm here to help you.
Because we are here to help. Advance.
I am the government. We're here to help.
Yeah. Thanks, Kabbalah.
Advance into the apartment a little bit, and I get into where the kitchen starts. And I ask her again, I go, what seems to be the problem? And she looks at me and goes, oh, you got a problem. I'm like, what? With that, she's this little tiny woman, right? Very agile, as I come to find out. she all of a sudden she's side profile. She comes at me straight forward, and she's got a steak knife in her hand. And it's literally, so if you talk to anybody who's into firearms and firearm training, they will say the most close-in distance, most dangerous thing is a knife, not a gun.
Yep.
Yep.
I'd much rather be in a gunfight than a
100%.
knife fight.
Yes.
Take it right through your forearm.
And
Doesn't matter. You're out.
I got nothing. So
I got mace.
She comes out, and there was no time for any of that. She comes out, the knife comes up. It was a small steak knife, thank God. And I'm like, all right, my partner's behind me, who's like 6'4", and he's coming through the door.
And Alan's 5'3".
And I'm 5 foot nothing.
Yeah.
And
Rudy Rudiger is coming through the line.
Really small hands.
Yeah, really small hands. All I
take
could
it
think to
easy.
do is kind of take cover and turn and give her my
forearm
shoulder.
shimmer. Yep.
Because just the way it was a table, it was small quarters, and I knew something. I was hoping maybe I could hit her and throw her off balance. It didn't quite work that way. She
Stuck you like a pig.
Like you said, she was more agile.
Yeah, but you had your partner backing you up like soon, right?
Oh,
yeah.
you would
so
think.
you could. Yeah.
No, he was.
You would think,
no,
right?
No, he was a bitch.
Yeah.
Oh no.
You should have just bit a bottle and
So-
said,
Well, I'll tell that story too. So literally the knife, and I don't feel it, but I see it out of the corner of my eye.
I don't feel it.
Because it's in my shoulder now, and I can see the handle. She stabs me. And I don't feel it right away, because I'm just...
Your adrenaline's
right?
through the roof. Your adrenaline is nuts.
So, like, it was the summer, and our uniform was black pants, and we were able to wear these gray polo shirts, right? And I'm looking, and I see red, and I'm like, oh, fuck.
Ah, damn it.
So now she's trying to grab the knife. She's on top of me, and, like, where now... For whatever reason, I bled a lot, and it was we slipped on my blood on the linoleum kitchen floor, right?
Stabbing.
And the only thing I could think of in my head was I have to kill this woman. Yeah. That's literally was in my head.
She just tried to kill
Just so you survive.
So my partner is now in the. He's not even in the apartment. I could see him. He's in the hallway. He backs out of the apartment. And he's screaming on the radio for the cavalry to come. All right, that's great, because I can't reach my radio. Her and I are on the floor, and we're like...
Wrestling for a knife that's in your shoulder.
We're wrestling for the knife that's in my shoulder. And literally, all I could think... She had long hair, and all I could think of to do was to grab her hair and keep twisting it in my hand until my fist was this tight against her forehead. We were on the floor. And she ended up grabbing the knife. She was trying to pull the knife out of my shoulder at this point. And her head's against the stove. Well, and I feel I felt horrible. And all I kept doing now that I have her is I'm slamming her head against the stove door. Broke the stove glass, dented the stove door.
Good.
You have to survive.
I mean, ended up like in my head,
man.
like I am going home. I'm fucking 21 years old, and this is not
Getting stabbed.
Yeah.
I've already been stabbed. I've already been stabbed.
I can see how this is going to get spun as like you did wrong here too.
So-
like it's so easy.
That's
this
exactly
could be
what I'm
spun.
thinking of.
It almost did. It almost did. But thank God for the cops that had showed up, who were the first, and the two female cops who I knew work in that area really well. They came in. They see all this going on. They grab her. And at that time, when they grab her, she was limp on the floor. At that time, they had to take her to the hospital. She was in bad shape. And she was,
After Alan slammed her head against the oven.
she was
19 times.
she was in bad shape.
Survival
She
situation.
didn't manage to take the knife out, but when she grabbed it, that's when I felt it. She was trying to. That's when I felt it. It was like my whole right side was limp. So, long story short, she's not around anymore.
Sharing a cell with the QAnon shaman.
She's not around. No, I think
Shaman.
No, at this point, she's bones. So
Is your shoulder still fucked up to this day?
no. So literally,
Well, you said you were 21, so I mean,
Yeah,
a long
you could
time.
heal. Yeah.
but the way it went in hit
It was a
nothing.
perfect spot.
Hit
Yeah.
no
when you're
surgery.
that young,
No
too,
ligaments,
you
no
heal
curve.
Nothing.
You got very lucky.
Your ligaments literally
nothing.
moved out of the way.
Like I lucked
So
out.
again, Alan, like you know what those high adrenaline situations are like.
Yeah.
You've felt them, and you've put yourself, and Steve as well. You've put yourself.
I'm sure everyone here has been in a high adrenaline situation.
No. But I'm saying like you actively put yourself in those scenarios. Is what I'm saying. Like most people avoid those scenarios as much as they can.
I knew I would be
even people
eventually in that scenario.
You're right. Everybody has been in those high adrenaline situations one way or another. But most people don't actively seek to put themselves in those situations.
No.
This is why I give nurses and people in those careers that you're constantly dealing with this hectic, high adrenaline rush. It's very, very difficult, and you're one in a million because not everybody can do that. And the point is if shit hits the fan and continues to go the way we think it might go, they're not going to handle. Like I'm a big fight fan, as everybody knows, and I love the guys that sit there and watch stuff. Like, why doesn't he just stand up? Like,
Well, I don't watch golf.
Yeah.
Well, I don't watch golf because I suck at golf. But I'm like, oh, dude, I wouldn't have put it that way. What the fuck am I talking about?
Like,
I get it.
So like I'm like dude, I'm like
He lit up with a
or
3-iron.
I would beat him in a fight, or like
get
if
it
someone
on the
tried to
green.
use jujitsu on me, like I would take them. I see red. My favorites. I see red when things hit the fan. I'm like, you're fucked, dude. You're so fucked, and you have no idea what the fuck is gonna happen. And that's what's gonna happen to so many people, because as soon as like the power's out for that long, and that
2
feeling,
days.
that feeling
2 days.
that sets in, like, yo, like this is not good. Like,
But then you just got to look at what would it take for us to get to that situation. I mean,
It's not that much.
EMP.
Not much. But listen,
Not even.
not much.
But hold on. For there to be interruptions in the grid, but for how advanced we are, how long that would last? Because
We could fix it. Yeah.
that's
Well,
that's
no,
the
no,
thing.
we
No.
would.
Yeah, we could. Yeah,
We
we
would
could.
be back
We're
to
pretty
like
resilient.
the 1950s
So,
within like
what
a few
if,
weeks.
what if
You know what I mean? Like,
what if
your cell phone might not work, but you're gonna get TV again. right?
That's enough to kill people.
Let me
Your cell
ask
phone
you
don't work?
so something that I've thought of and mulled over. I have no evidence to say it's true, but like I was saying earlier on in the show, if there are patriots that are working behind the scenes to protect our country,
Hurry the fuck up.
Time is now.
No, I know, no. Of course, the time is now. But at the same time, it is a long play. If we're dealing with the masters of the universe, but let's say they have to, like, we're not wartime strategists.
Right.
We're in a war. Like, we are definitely in a war. It's
We're
an
just
information war.
soldiers.
But
I agree.
we're not strategists. And if we're sitting here and saying, like, okay,
Call me John Connor from now on.
Our electric system is a vulnerability. Like, that's a vulnerable spot. And if these deep state globalists, they want to take out this country, that's going to be something that they're going to target.
The first thing you'll do.
What if it's possible? What if it's possible that the Space Force, more specifically the Space Force, was put in place to be the backup for if the grid goes down?
And they always made fun of it.
That's what they've been working at on. That's one of the projects that they've been working on the entire time, is to make sure that there's backups if they do take down the grid, because technology has advanced to a point where we have so much of this technology that it's especially now with the release of AI, like. I saw
Wait, so you're
somebody.
saying Space Force is doing that? That's like what they're targeting, kind of.
Well, they're internet and things like that, but I wouldn't be surprised.
They do.
No, I fully believe that.
I wouldn't be
I
surprised.
fully believe the trump card is Space Force,
No,
and they're just
yes.
gonna have a shit ton of info and be like, "We went."
So, but
So go ahead.
it's
Trump,
something.
If the Trump
No, no,
card
no.
is fucking Space Force,
That'd be
I
awesome.
would lose my fucking
That'd
mind.
be pretty awesome.
If that was his whole plan, look, he's like, gotcha, motherfuckers, Space Force.
No, but
No one has that bingo chip. Nobody's
A lot of
got
people do.
fucking
I do.
Steve, I do.
That's the clip
I do.
right there.
I do. It wasn't like really think about the moves that were put in place by Donald Trump and the things that he has done that have exposed these evil fucks.
But that would be it, though.
No. But Space Force again. Like, you're laughing right now, and a lot of people laughed at it because they think, oh, it's outer space, this, that, and the other. They do a lot of things that are technologically based. Like, it's all internet and things and server based, and our technology is so, like. I saw a discussion, I think it was on Joe Rogan's show, about AI, and he's like, what's crazy about AI is that we don't even know how long AI existed. Like, it could have been around a long ass time ago, and they've been using this AI against
Just
us.
dripping it out
Yeah, just
now.
no, but they've been using that technology again. Like, we're seeing how, just with ChatGPT and the AI that is
Ooh,
now,
I like
we're
that.
seeing how powerful this stuff is. Like, it's unbelievable how powerful this AI technology is. It's scary,
Dude,
because
you're taking
hold on,
pictures
hold on,
and
hold on.
movies and
No,
shit
no,
now?
No, you're able to recreate a person's face and get them to say whatever you want, and it looks real. It looks 100% real. You cannot tell the difference. And we don't even know how long this technology has been around. So we have technologies that we have no fucking idea what they're able to do. We only know a small portion of the technology.
We're like
that
children with scissors.
The government has available
Don't
to
run,
us.
motherfucker.
So again, back to my point. I am no military strategist. And none of us here are. But if we're all sitting here saying, hey, our electric grid is a pretty vulnerable.
weak, yeah.
It's a vulnerable spot.
Maybe we shouldn't.
Don't you think? I may be wrong. There may not be any patriots or anybody working behind the scenes to protect our country. There may be nobody. We may be up Shit's Creek without a paddle. I may be wrong. I pray that I'm not, and I really don't think. With every fiber in my body, I don't think I am. I really think that there are people working to save our, along with us, the American public. We're a huge piece of this, but. if that is the case, they have to be thinking the same thing that all of us are thinking here right now, that that's a vulnerability. If the grid goes down, it's going to cause mass chaos and a huge problem that is irreversible. Like, you can't put that back in the bottle once the electricity's back. Okay, we're neighbors again. Hey, guys.
Right. Sorry I ate your children.
Yeah,
that's a
In
good
reference-
point. That's a good
But
point.
can we clean the table here? I'm sorry.
In reference to Space Force, I was fortunate on my show a while ago, months back,
To be your other CIA operative?
Yes.
Okay.
to interview the first veteran of Space Force.
Yeah, I remember when you
this
did
guy,
that.
Lieutenant Colonel Matthew Lohmeyer, and he was forced out because of a Thanksgiving message that Trump gave that he acknowledged and showed his support for Donald Trump. He got into some trouble and he was forced out.
I
He had
remember
to
this
retire.
guy, yes.
So anyway, he had told me. So he commanded. It was like the 11th wing of the Space Force. His job was he was the commander of it. They monitored missile strikes or rocket launches all over the world, and he said there was at least one, but usually more than one, detonation launch a day. A day. Every day there was something, and their job was to document, record it, and
Intercept.
and whatever else. And he said there's a lot of other things the Space Force does that at that time during the interview he was just out. He was writing a book. He could not say. He said he was when he first heard of the Space Force, he was like, "This is a joke, right?" But it's not outer space. All right, that's not outer space. It's the world and the things that they do, and what Donald Trump's idea was behind it. He's like, it's second to none. It's needed, and that it's a dedicated agency, through the Air Force or whatever. They do some pretty wild stuff. He said you would be shocked on what goes on around the world that you will never hear in any mainstream media or even independent media agency.
Conspiracy theories can't even come
on,
up.
I can
what
see
the
it
fuck
being
goes
not
on.
only outer space, but cyberspace as well.
No, it's
right?
more
Like,
cyberspace
when you think
than
about it,
anything.
like cyberspace is kind of like the universe. It's like the same thing, just smaller in a sense. Like the internet is endless.
That's the
just
main
kind of
goal.
like the universe is
That's
too.
the main-
So
it's
they
not-
might have the right minds for that type of shit. Like if you're into both,
But
it's kind
that's
of related.
that's exactly my point. Is that like if there are truly people working behind the scenes, they're thinking the things that us average citizens who aren't military strategists are thinking, and they're probably 10 steps ahead. They probably have plans ahead, and there's who knows what Starlink is capable of actually doing, and these satellites that they have up in the atmosphere, what they're capable of doing, and the technology. Like really think about the technology that we have in the electric grid and how old-fashioned a lot of that tech is. Like, you don't think that they don't have more advanced tech, and really think about what Nikola Tesla has created. Like,
We're not even getting it. Let's go. Shot that there.
Everybody
Let's
here
go.
is starving, right?
We're
Yes.
gonna eat.
All right, everybody got a drink, boys?
Let's wrap it up.
Tesla,
All right.
we're like, now!
We'll have to do this again and again.
I'm sorry that we got
I don't know
all
when I'll
this
be. I'll be
short.
back.
Hey
in-
man, we could do this at any time over Zoom as well. Like
Yes.
it's obviously way more
Yeah.
fucking fun in person, but
Oh yeah, no,
But-
we're
it's
doing
bad.
it.
We
should
in
do
person.
this.
Gentlemen,
This was the best.
Hey,
Gentlemen, I want to thank you guys for
hold
putting.
on.
All right.
Hold on.
I can feel my best speech.
Gentlemen, I want to.
Give me a tiny bit.
That's good. That's good. You're good.
Just like Alan.
I know how to pour a drink. Trust me, boy.
That's it.
Twist that. Twist off. You don't want.
Better than Skaggs handing a blunt off to James.
yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
That was my favorite part of this whole episode.
Good.
All right, gentlemen, I want to thank you
Yes.
for coming on to our show. Thank you for sharing your ideas and topics. Thank you for creating this fucking community that we have together. Thank you guys for putting in the effort every fucking day and every week to the 1,000 cuts that we talk about. Gentlemen, it is inspiring, and we're part of something, whether we get
It's an
shadow
honor.
banned or not.
It's an honor to serve with you boys. Let's go.
Let's go, guys.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right. Good seeing you, fellas.
Go fuck yourselves.
Yeah, you can all get fucked.